and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Friday Night Live Craft with me. Tonight I'm going to be focusing on making some clusters. I'm going to go over all of the supplies that I have pulled, as well as give you ideas for things that I didn't pull that you might have in your craft room. We're going to talk about clusters from start to finish. We're going to talk about both the fabric, lacy, soft type of clusters and the paper type of clusters. And basically making clusters is an exercise in collage. So I know a lot of people have a hard time with collage. Some people are just awesome at it naturally. Other people, it takes years of practice before they get accustomed to it and they feel, comfortable doing it. So all different kinds of skill levels are out there, and people's brains and visually things they look different to different people, right? And there's no right or wrong way to build a cluster or to do collage. It's all just what looks good to you, what looks good to your eye. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to make all of our little cluster boxes. For a couple weeks now, I've been telling you guys to grab some type of plastic storage box that has little dividers in it that you can organize all of your little cluster making bits. And the good thing about making clusters is when you make a cluster building box, it's just ready to go. And you can take that box and you can sit down in front of the TV and you can just sit there and make clusters. And it's really quite easy. And you can make quite a lot of them in a short period of time. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight, clusters. And there's other good things that we can do with clusters besides, just the obvious putting little tiny things together and arranging them, and then maybe gluing them or stapling them onto something else. So I'm going to talk about that as we get a little bit more into the project. So hopefully you guys all had a fabulous week and you are ready for the weekend. I am ready for the weekend. I have a lot of work to do this weekend, but I'm definitely ready for the weekend. So thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, hanging out in chat. And as we get a little bit further along, I will give out some other information too. I'm just waiting for YouTube to pick it up and say, hey, she's live, and then we'll go from there. Oh my gosh. Well, hello. Let me say my hellos. Hello, Lynn. Thank you for joining. Hello, Tara. Hello, Soldier Mom and Catherine and Julie. Hello. Black Whisper Crafts. Hello, Melissa. Hello. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Let me scroll back and go through a little bit more hellos. Fundraising Mom is in here, and Michelle and Audra and Jackie and Jerry and Vintage Baby and Gina and Pam and Grandma's Gone Crafty and Sherry Martin and Misty Elliott. And I don't know who I said hello to now, who and didn't, but hello to everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope that you guys are ready to do this. Did you guys gather some supplies? So be honest, who knew that we were doing this tonight because you had been at a previous live where I talked about it, and who had no idea we were doing this tonight? It just gives me an idea of what kind of messaging I need to put out there so that when we are going to do an organized craft with me like this, where it is one specific topic, I need to know how well, how many people were ready and prepared for it and how many people were completely caught off guard. First time joining your live? Well, thank you so much for joining, Julie. We're going to get to it here in just a few minutes. It just takes... For all you guys, thank you so much for joining. You guys join right when the time is, so the video is supposed to start, right? And so it takes social media just a couple of minutes, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, to send out notifications to people that the live video has started. So we usually chit chat for just, 10, 15 minutes. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. But if you guys want to grab a drink, a snack, something like that, if you want to start pulling out supplies to make clusters, if you pull your scrap bin, scrap paper, scrap fabric, that might be helpful. But generally we just chit chat for, 15 minutes in the beginning and then we get right to it. Yes, it does pay to be a craft hoarder. Absolutely. Yay, you did make it, Cheryl. Thanks so much for joining. Hello, Rhea. Go craft with me. That's funny, Rhea. It's oh my gosh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Norway. Well, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully, hopefully we're not going to make you so tired tomorrow that you won't be able to function. Only by the notification? Okay. So I had been announcing this cluster building workshop for a couple of weeks. And so some people who were on previous lives knew about it, and some people didn't. And so I think what I will do in the future is kind of mention it in the 365 videos too, just because I think a lot of people watched the 365 videos but maybe didn't come to a previous live. So I'll try to do better messaging next time so that more people have time to gather the supplies. Tonight, you're going to have time to pull things. You're definitely going to have time to go in your craft room and pull out some of the supplies, because I have some things that I'm going to be cutting and stuff like that in the beginning. So in the beginning part of this workshop, we're going to talk about all the different kinds of things that you could use in a cluster to build clusters. And then I'm going to assemble plastic storage boxes that have little dividers where I keep all of my little bits organized. And then I'm also going to have a big bin where I just have a bunch of random larger pieces of paper. So like scraps or things I've cut down to be the right size. And so I'm going to talk about the way I build clusters, but there are many different ways of building clusters. So don't think that don't think that my way is the only way. Don't think that I think that my way is the only way. I understand that everyone works differently. And so yeah, you do you, but I'm going to just show you what I found that works well for me. And so I kind of wanted to make it like, when I build clusters, I want to make it so that I can sit down and make a number of them very quickly, because otherwise it takes quite a long time. Like if you're just working through a journal and say you're nearing the finish line of making a journal, and you've got all your pockets in and you've got all your tags in, and you're at that final step where you want to put the little finishing touches on. If you don't have pre-made clusters, that little finishing step part can take as long as it took you to make pockets or tags or whatever. And so I think if we can organize our cluster making supplies into whatever kind of storage solution makes sense for you. For some people, it's going to be little baggies. It might be little Ziploc baggies. It might be, zippered ones. Some people might just work better having everything dumped in a big bin and just rummaging through it. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. But I think for me, if I have them organized, I can just pick and pull the little bits and pieces and assemble that. A cluster is really a collage. So assemble that little miniature collage as fast as I can and still make it look nice. And then I'll have them on hand in a bin where I can add them to journals. Now, the other good thing about having all of your supplies organized and put into what I'm calling a cluster building box is when you are in that last final step of making a journal and you're decorating just the little places on pages that needed a little something, having all of those tiny little elements put in one location, you can then, oh dang, that little pocket needed something else. Let me just go and I can grab this little piece of lace and this little piece of paper, and you can very easily and in a short amount of time finish off that little pocket. So it's good to be organized if that's the way that your brain works. Some people work, just they need it all just in a bin where they can rummage. So I kind of start out that way where I need to rummage through many, many, many bins. And then I pull everything that I want for clusters and put it into a smaller organized bin. I know it's kind of weird, but I'll talk about it and show you. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. Hello, Betty. Hello, VB Designs. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Celia. Hello, Audra. I think I said hello. Maybe I didn't. See, now I don't know who I did say hello to and who I didn't. That happens a lot. Well, hello to everyone. Okay, so I did post the link to the Facebook group. The Facebook group is called Junk Journal Makers. If you guys are on Facebook, the Junk Journal Makers Facebook group was created like 6 months ago. So it's a baby group. It's growing very fast. And as we grow, we get more people who are posting pictures and lots more inspiration in there. So that's my Facebook group. It's called Junk Journal Makers. It is posted the very first comment up in the chat box. And also up at the top of the chat box are some general chat guidelines, rules, if you will. And so I just want to make sure that we keep the chat positive, like no, this is a happy place. And so everyone on Friday night, they just want to be happy and they just want to be relaxed and craft. So if we could refrain from talking about anything that's not happy, that would be better. And also, if you guys would please, when you're talking to me, if you have a question, please type it in all caps, because when I'm facing, there's two cameras. When the other camera is facing the desk, I can only see chat from the side. So if you're talking to me, even if it's just a comment saying hello, whatever, if it's in all caps, I will see it. If it's not in all caps, chances are I'm not going to see it. There is a silent moderator who moderates chat. And so if there's a comment that needs to be removed or a person that needs to be banned, that will happen. But as far as me seeing comments, I just can't see them very well if they're not in all caps. And so if you send me a PM, I will look at that after the live is over. So there's just a couple little bits of information up there for you guys from Gail. Yeah, Gail is such a sweetheart. She's so good about, telling where she gets things and mentioning people's shops and stuff like that. She's great. Her and Rhonda from A Little Bit French, they have been really awesome in sharing my information. And so I do appreciate them. They're both great. So if you guys don't know, Gail Augustinelli, her channel name is just called Gail Augustinelli. And then Rhonda from A Little Bit French, her channel is called A Little Bit French. And so those people have been very helpful, very helpful and very supportive. And I'm so thankful for them. Your Valentine desk is exploding. I have not begun to work on Valentine's. I don't know. I might have to skip it this year because we're doing that blue beautiful journal, the kit journal. So if you guys don't know, every month I come out with a junk journal kit. This is a physical kit, not a digital. So it's a physical kit that includes everything to make the journal with. There are some pieces that you're going to have in your craft room. Like if you want a specific digital, you're going to have to use whatever digital. If you purchase the kit, it has all the materials to construct the cover, and it has basic things to put inside for pages. It has antique ephemera, vintage things. Most of my stuff is vintage and antique themed. I like to make vintage themed journals. So anyway, every month we come out with a kit. This month's kit is called French Blue Beauty. And I did sell the kit on the Tuesday night live sale. So I do have some kits, just a very, very few of them left, because I actually went back and made more so that I could meet demand. But I do have a few of those kits left. Kits are $65. If you want to see the kit, I would encourage you to watch the beginning part of the Tuesday night live sale. All of my live videos stay on my channel forever, and they are linked in the live section on my YouTube channel. I just had allergies. Yes, just allergies. It was a terrible allergy attack on Tuesday. But anyway, we made it through it. So there is a junk journal of the month kit that comes out every month. I still have a couple left over, and that's the February kit. So all throughout the month of February, we will be building that journal live together on camera as a group. You don't have to do that. You don't have to purchase the kit to craft along with us while we make the kit. You can use your own supplies that you already have and make a copy of the journal that we're making. Everyone will make their journal differently anyway, because everyone has different, tastes. So anyway, that's the journal kit of the month. And then every Tuesday I have a live sale where I sell all of this antique ledgers and paper and stuff like that I get from friends. So every Tuesday is a live sale. Every Friday is a live craft with me. And that's what we do. And then I'm doing the 365 videos every morning for you guys. So I will continue to do those. It has been super fun and I'm not bored of it yet. So that's a good thing. I got a long way to go, but we'll do a new short video, like 15-20 minute video, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but short video every morning, detailing one type of ephemera piece you can make, some type of decoration for a journal. We are going to sew in a signature. And as I build that blue beauty journal, you will see bits and pieces of it on the journal, the 365 days of journal. Oh my gosh, can't talk. As I build that blue journal, you will see bits and pieces of me making that blue journal and stuff to decorate it with and stuff like that in the 365 days of junk journal ideas videos that air every morning. Thank you for asking, guys. And I know we have a birthday. I heard that Lisa Maria is having a birthday today. So I just want to wish Lisa a happy birthday. If you guys know her, wish her a happy birthday. I did not see if she was in here yet or not, or if she'll come tonight. But anyway, she might watch it later. Happy birthday. All right, guys, I think we're going to move the camera down to the table and we're going to begin talking about clusters. So let me get that situated. There we go. And let me turn on this light so we can see better. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. Let me get this light turned up so that we can see. I try to turn the light down whenever the other camera is on because this light is so powerful. It makes my whole like person face. I'm just too shiny. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, so there's the light turned on and I will stop messing with the camera. Let me move my monitor over so I can see chat. Okay, let's talk about clusters. So you can see these are my cluster boxes as they sit right now. I'm going to be working on them and adding some things to them. Plus I'll have a whole big box of stuff that is not going to be in these little boxes. But the type of boxes that I'm using are just these little divided plastic storage boxes with lids. These are super old ones. I've had these since my scrapbooking days, where if you guys were scrapbookers, you probably remember building like embellishment boxes. This is basically building embellishment boxes, but for junk journals. And so I will show you guys what I have in all of my little bins, and that will give you guys ideas, hopefully, of things that you guys can pull out. Before we go through the little bins, I want to talk about stuff that is not going to go in bins. So you can see right here, I've started organizing little scrap pieces of paper. So I have a pile that is just ledger. These are all antique French ledger pieces. So you can see, let me just get the ruler quick and show you the size that I cut my pieces to. So, you know, they're all different sizes in here, but this kind of gives you an idea. They're like 3.5 inches at the widest by 6 inches, and that's a very big piece. Most of these pieces are like an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches by 3 or 4 inches. And then I do like to leave my pieces bigger in the beginning, some bigger, some smaller. But if I leave them big like this and I don't like it big and I want to use it a different way, at least I have an option of cutting it. So anyway, I do assemble piles of ledger. I also assemble piles of, this is all dictionary. So all different kinds of dictionary, and you can see it's small pieces, it's large pieces. There's some illustrated dictionary somewhere in here. There's dictionary from different languages, but I have a pile of ledger, a pile of dictionary. I have a pile of Braille paper. I love using Braille paper in clusters because it adds texture, and it's nice, thick, sturdy paper too. And so all of my Braille paper is from discarded library books and their children's storybooks. And so that's Braille paper. And I also have a pile of music paper. These are like staples that for building clusters that are, we're going to talk about paper clusters first, if you didn't get the idea, but for building paper clusters, these are staples. So Braille, dictionary, ledger paper if you have it, music paper. And for any of these things, you can use a digital if you don't have the original. I have the original, so I'm going to use them. But if you don't have original, you could certainly use printables. So these are actually pieces of sheet music. So the kind that have the printed covers on them. And so I like using the sheet music. I'll actually show you some, because the sheet music pages are thicker than regular music pages. It doesn't matter. Use what you have. But here's another pile of stuff that we can look at. And this is stuff for paper clusters. So this top pile right here, this is stuff out of my scrap bin. So you can see I have little pieces of antique French, handwritten. These are like super old, you know, super fancy calligraphy, handwritten. So these are original, right? So I just have all kinds of stuff out of my scrap bin. There's some papers from Spain in here, other ledger pages, and then there's rag paper pieces in here. This was stuff from building collage master boards or things like that, just scrap. So this is my scrap bin. Also in my scrap bin, I have all of my scraps of the Florentine paper. And so my scrap bin is a little bit organized, not all the way, but a little bit. And so I have pieces of scrap Florentine paper. So that Florentine paper comes from Italy. I sell it at my live sales. I always get a million questions about it. I sell it at my live sales. Everything you guys see me use is available from me at the live sales. And I only sell on Tuesdays when I'm live. And so I just want to mention that because I get a lot of questions. So anyway, here's all of that kind of scraps of Florentine paper. And so if you're building colorful clusters, there's your Florentine paper. Then down here, I have some pieces of printed cardstock. So you can use any weight of paper, but I will tell you clusters generally come out better when the paper is more sturdy. The super little thin bits you can use, but you just need to make sure that you're layering them with enough stuff that they are sturdy. So I also have pieces of scrap Tim Holtz cardstock if you have any of that laying around. Here's some more ledger pieces, and then scraps of my digitals. This is scraps of Stamperia paper. I love that Stamperia paper. So we can make clusters to meet any type of theme of a journal. If you want shabby chic journal clusters, then you build shabby chic, pink, lovely, lacy clusters, whatever you want to do. If you want super grungy, mixed media kind, then you do that. If you want more steampunky, if you want prayer journal clusters, you build whatever kind of clusters you want to build. And down here we have some more antique handwriting. These are old documents. I'm going to be cutting these up. So that's why they're here. So I'm going to cut these up. I'm also going to tear out some rag paper book pages. I like using those. So that's just a rag paper book that I'm tearing apart. These are ledger sheets that need to be cut down. So there's blue paper ones. There's ones with purple handwriting. This is another just regular French one. Another regular French one. This gigantic sheet is regular French. And then there's another antique document down there. So all of that, I'm going to work on cutting up. This, I'm just going to set over here with the rest of my tiny little pieces for right now. So if you guys want to gather your paper bits, that's where we're going to start. Now, let me show you what is in the box. Do I have anything else I needed to show you? Oh, the music paper. So if you have any of these laying around, these are sheet music. So sheet music looks like this. It's on thicker paper. So I'm not talking about the music paper that you get in the big like piano playing books. These ones, because they have this colorful cover on them, it's kind of thicker, nicer paper. And so that's what I'm using. Now you could use regular music paper, but it's just usually pretty thin. So you want to be careful with thin. I do have thin dictionary, but I'm going to show you what we're doing with that. And I think, oh, my rag paper's in here. We got to cut that rag paper up too. So any type of rag paper, more French ledger, and more dictionary pages. Okay. So gather your paper bits. That's step one. Let's look at the paper, other paper ideas. Okay. So this is my cluster box as it sits right now. This one I have refilled. So all of these compartments, I have had these compartments for a while and I refilled it prior to this live. However, in truth, I use probably 3 or 4 times this amount of stuff when I build clusters, but this is just one of the boxes. So the little tiny Tim Holtz people, these are the minis. I don't know if he makes these anymore, but if you have the little mini ones, like this is the full size of the mini. If you have the mini people, they work great to top off your clusters. So after you build, and we're going to talk about the collage formulas and, things, ideas of making collaging easier, but to decorate the top layers or other things to add into clusters, this is kind of what this box is. So sometimes I just put these on the top as like my focal point, right? So the tiny little Tim Holtz people. In this bin, I have all of these stamps on paper. So they're antique stamps that are still on their paper envelope corners. Sometimes you can get them like that where people just tore them off like that. I have them at my live sale, but anyway, so on paper stamps. In this bin back here, I have the cigar labels. So cigar labels. And then back here is like, these are brand new from Amazon. They're like basically fake little tickets. I do like using this kind of stuff in clusters. So fake little tickets. If you have any of that type of, made in China Amazon stuff, I do not shop at the Temus, the Wishes, the whatever those other sites are, because those sites steal other designers, artists' designs. They've done it so many times that it's not an accident, and I will not support people who will steal from other people. So I do not shop at those places, and I do not buy the stuff from Amazon really anymore either. This is stuff I've had for a long time. So tickets. That all being said, there's other tickets down here. This one is just a bunch of random little pieces of paper. Most of this stuff came from those little packs from Amazon, but there's just random little bits of paper in there. And then this one is the same. Random little bits of those, if you buy those little collage packs on Amazon, this is the kind of stuff that you find in there. I do like to have some printed words where you can cut out like little sayings, little quotes and that kind of thing. So those are nice if you have any of those. In these two bins, there's the Victorian scrap. So I have one that is all flowers and I have one that is all butterflies and birds. And I like to keep them separated. So if I know I'm looking for a butterfly, it's there. If I know looking for flowers, it's there. The next little one is more of those little, the vellum, little tiny papers and things like that. Again, from Amazon, this kind of stuff from Amazon. So I'm trying to use it up. There it is. These are Tim Holtz little labels. If you have the little vintage Denison labels, that's what those are. The little language cards, they're vintage, like language flashcards. I have a thing of those. Those are great in clusters. There's one of my hairs. Apologies. I'm shedding at this stage of my life. And so these are stamps, vintage postage stamps that are not on paper. They're just regular stamps. I like to keep them where, you can get the little paper bit with it, or you can just get the stamp by itself. So those are my little stamp organized bins there. These are milk caps. I have vintage ones in the front, vintage milk caps, and then I have the Tim Holtz ones back here in the back. So milk caps are great if you have those. These are Tim Holtz little, and I think these are retired too, but I think you can still get these on Amazon. These are collage tiles from Tim Holtz. So obviously, we're doing collage. These little collage tiles are great. And I'm going to show you a cheat if you do not have these. I will, and you can't find them because I think they are retired, but I'll show you a little cheat for getting this basically. So collage tiles, if you have them. This is Tim Holtz little number cutoff bits. There are digitals on Etsy all over where you can buy these, or you can buy them from Tim. These are tiny, tiny little labels. Very, very small little labels. These are, I have a digital, and I will talk about digitals too, but I have a digital of all of my Victorian calling cards. So I scanned my calling cards all in, I printed them out, then I told my scan and cut to go and cut them all out for me. So it cut all of these fancy decorative edges on my cards. So I have these because I do like using these for clusters. So those are in there. So that's the paper bin, okay? Some of you do not want to make paper clusters, so I'm going to show you the lace and fabric bin, but we're going to start tonight by making the paper clusters, and then a week from today, Friday next week, we will make the lace clusters. But I'm going to show you what's in the bin so that maybe you can get supplies ready for next Friday when we do these ones. I know we're not going to have enough time to do both. And I want to show you this so that if you want to, you know, you don't want to make paper and you just want to make this, at least you've got the idea and you've seen what I have in my box. Although I will tell you there is another huge bin of stuff behind me. I also, for paper, before we get to lace, also have this box. This box, this is really a big box. I apologize. So this box right here is just all miscellaneous antique papers from France. And these are the ones where I usually come in here and find stuff to tear apart, to use in collages, to use in masterboards, to whatever. But I have a ton of this just miscellaneous French stuff, right? And so I have this bin sitting behind me. And if I need something, I will pull it out of here. There's just all kinds of random things in here. Just so like there's magazines, there's embroidery patterns, there's whatever. So I also have that. Okay, moving on. We're still talking about papery bits. This is my bin of saving stamps. So S&H saving stamps. There's all different kinds of brands of saving stamps in here. So that's what this bin is. These are great for clusters because you could use a whole strip. You could use one tiny little stamp. You could tear off, you know, the section of 4 here and use that in a cluster. So when I'm building clusters, I usually just have this bin, or maybe I'll take a handful and just work, you know, with a little handful, but I cannot fit everything into my cluster box. And I used to have a bigger one, but it's buried in my craft room. So for now, we're working in this bin. So that's another idea. And then I also have this bin, so I collect the rolls of vintage tickets. And in the other room, I have stacks and stacks of them in my craft room. But these ones are the ones I craft with. And it's because I have multiple rolls of every one of these, so I can actually part with some, you know. So these are the vintage British bus tickets. They're actually from all over Europe, but most of these are from England, British places. I guess there's actually some from Ireland and stuff like that. Anyway, UK. And so these ones are French tickets. So in this bin are just different kinds of like ticket things. So we have those to play with. And I do like using these because, again, you can take off a strip of them, right? So you can build your cluster with, you know, 3 or 4 of them in there, or you can just use one. Okay, so that's kind of off to the side stuff. And then we have other ideas of things that you could use. And I'm going to cut up some of these. So playing cards. Playing cards are great bases to build clusters on. So my playing cards, these are just, and I like to get these ones where they, you know, they're just really cheap playing cards. These ones were from Delta Airlines. And so you can use the whole card, and that can be where you start your cluster. And you know, after you collage stuff all over it, you've just got a little bit of the card showing. Or if you have ones that you like the back of your card, you could do it where your back of your card is showing. But if you build your cluster on a card, it also makes a great tuck. When you put your cluster on a journal page, you could literally just staple it or glue down the 2 sides, and then your cluster will become a tuck. So we can talk about all the ways to use paper clusters too. But anyway, playing cards are a great thing to do. And I usually cut some up and then I leave some whole. So that's playing cards. The other thing is paint chips, paint sample cards. These are great also because you know how like the whole paint palette thing is in right now, where on the sides of journal pages, they'll take watercolors and they'll paint out a little, you know, 5 or 6 little squares of watercolor paint. Well, you can cut these into strips where you have just your little palette and you can build a collage around that. Or you can just cut off one little piece, and it's a nice way of, you know, say you have, like, say you're trying to use this in a cluster and you just, you know, you want something that coordinates with it. Well, you could easily find a paint chip that is one of those colors and then build that paint chip into your cluster to tie everything together. So paint chips are very useful. I got these from Home Depot, and I did go in and I said to the person who was working the paint counter, I said, you know, do you have any that maybe you've retired the colors and so they're not able to be used anymore because you guys don't make this color? And he said they often do have boxes of the paint chips that they have to throw away. So if you go to your Home Depot, your Lowe's, whatever home improvement store you have in your area, you can ask them if they have any that have to be discarded, or, you know, maybe they could take down your number and they could call you when they change out their paint chips. But I went and he gave me this huge pile of paint chips. So I like to keep those for clusters. For many things, really, but for clusters, they work great. Here is another storage idea for the bigger bits. So at some point, I just take nice sized pieces for clusters and put them into one of these square bins and keep the larger paper bits organized like that, because they're not going to fit in this little, you know, 2x2 square. Can you mix pastel florals with neutral? Yes, absolutely. You can mix and do whatever you want. There are no rules with junk journals. That is the best thing about junk journals, is there's literally no rules. You make whatever you want to make. If it looks good to you, I promise you it will appeal to someone else. Now, I generally try to keep my designs, what I'm making, where it will appeal to a broader audience, just because, you know, I'm making journals to sell. But if you're not making journals to sell and it's just for you, then absolutely do whatever you want to do. If you're making journals with the hopes of selling them, I would say, you know, take a look around at what other people are doing and what is popular, and maybe try to tailor what you love to maybe mix in some of what is selling and is, you know, people are interested in buying, that kind of a thing. Never give up who you are, but in what your style is, but maybe mix in some of the things that you do see are popular in selling. That would be my tip. Okay, there's that. The other thing is, where did I put them? Well, somewhere in this room. Oh, they're right here. So I took these. These are stock certificates. These happen to be like French stock certificates. And I took a whole bunch of the antique ones and I scanned the little ticket portion. So all of these are little tickets. And the way that this stock certificate would work is these tickets meant how many shares of a stock you owned. So I took a bunch of my stock certificates and I scanned them and just made myself a bunch of little tickets. And I literally did this right before we went live. So this is the raw scan of them, but you can see where if we cut these out, these are going to be great in collage. So I just scanned a bunch of different ones, and I'm going to make the digital. I said I was going to talk about it. I'm going to make the digital. So this is the original one right here, and this is the scan. So you can see the scan does a really good job. But I'm going to make my digitals available in my Etsy store. I have not done that before, but I will make my digitals available in the Etsy store because lots of people are asking. So I will get that done. I don't know when I will have time, but soon. I'm trying. If there was just more than 24 hours in a day, I would get it all done, guys. I really would. So I am still processing orders from Tuesday. I will quickly mention, if you're waiting on an invoice, because all of you are, invoicing will come out on Monday. So just hold tight. It takes several days to process a huge sale like that. So invoices come out on Monday. Anyway, we're going to cut these up. We're going to use these. So what other bits do you guys think would make great pieces to put in a cluster? I'm opening it up and I'm saying, type in what you guys think would make great additions to paper cluster boxes, because these are just things I had where I could pull. I literally pulled all of this today. I had the one box started, but I had to refill it. But these are just things that I came up with that I could pull quickly this afternoon. So what things do you guys think make good pieces and parts for clusters? I see flashcards. Yes, they do. They make awesome bits for clusters. What else, you guys? Let's collaborate and come up with a huge thing here. Starbucks cup protectors. Oh, I actually have that. I forgot. Here's this. This type of material. These are, this is from France, and so it has those lines in it. So any type of packing material, but these ones from France with the lines are my absolute favorite to use. They're thicker, nicer packing paper. So anyway, I have those. Any of these type of advertisements, pieces from magazines that you guys cut out, your fussy cuts you can use in clusters. If you have any of these type of, paper bags, I also like to cut bits and pieces out of there. This is regular packing paper from Amazon. What else do I have? Newspapers. If you guys have any newspapers, these are the antique French newspapers from 1870. But if you guys have any newspapers, the ads in the back of them make great bits and pieces for clusters. So there's a couple more. What else you guys got? Slide mounts. Yes, they do. We have slides right here. Slides are, here is my bin of slides. So slides, in general slides, you can poke out the little photos and use those in your clusters. What else? We're getting to fabric. We're definitely getting to fabric. Security envelope. Yes, absolutely, Gina. That is a great idea. Sewing pattern, tissue, napkins. Absolutely. Although you're going to have to stick those down to something in general. They'll look pretty for a little bit, but they might kind of tear as people flip through journals. So just know if you're using thin things like that, you might have to Mod Podge. I don't like Mod Podge in all honesty. I know most people use Mod Podge for napkins and things like that, but to me, Mod Podge never dries. It always dries tacky, right? Like it'll dry, but if you put something on one journal page with Mod Podge and you put something on the next facing journal page with Mod Podge, when you close that book up and you come back to it, those two pages will be stuck together. Now you might be able to pull them apart, but I don't want to stick anything in my journal that is sticky. So the Tim Holtz Collage medium, it works like Mod Podge with napkins, but it dries completely. It's matte and it never ever is sticky after the fact. So I use that. Cheesecloth, I've got it. We're talking about paper bits right now. Any other ideas for paper? Glassine bags or envelopes, postcards, index cards, packaging envelopes, carnival tickets, stamped images. Yes, absolutely. And I so wanted to do that, but I'm going to do it for 365 eventually. And we'll talk about stamped images. Let's see what else. I see pattern paper up there. What else? Silverware holders. Yep, good idea. Product packaging from Tim Holtz. Yep. Paper doilies. All kinds of good ideas. Great, guys. Foil from yogurt. Foil of anything. Any type of old, packaging that we use. The K-cup tops even. Even with the holes. They're great. Balsa wood. Yep. The little cutouts. Absolutely. Wallpaper, embossed paper. Mrs. Z doesn't like Mod Podge either. Dinner placemats or diner placemats. Sorry. Diner placemats. Use baby powder. You sure can. But honestly, I don't think it's worth the hassle. The collage medium is just easier. It really is. You do you. But I can't do the sticky. Do I like Liquitex? Liquitex. Oh yes, the clear gesso. Yes. Clear gesso is fine too. Okay. Maps. Absolutely. Maps are great. Wax paper, deli paper, great. Packing tape, masking tape, all of that kind of stuff, great. Okay. So let's talk quickly about this box, just in case you want to grab this for next Friday, because next Friday, the first thing is when I do the fabricy ones, I hand sew my buttons on. You don't have to hand sew your buttons on. You could glue them on. But when I make fabricy things, I generally will hand sew my buttons on them. And when I'm making fabric clusters, I usually put a button, but not always. Sometimes I put like rusty safety pin or something. This is a little one that was started for a project and then I never used it. But you know, sometimes I've just got rusty little metal bits on there. Sometimes I have something with a charm or a bead hanging off of it. But I generally put a button most of the time on my fabric ones. So I'm going to quickly go through this. There is bits and pieces of eyelet. And you can see I've organized one thing per section, except for a couple of them have doubled up pieces. So I've got different types of eyelet. I've got buttons. These were ones that came off of a thing I took apart. So they're just in here. Different types of laces. These were scraps. And so I've just cut them up into small little pieces. Different types of lace. Here's yet another lace. So most of this one is lacy, but then I do have fabric also. So there's that. This is a cut up piece of a tablecloth. So I like texture. So these chunky ones, I usually mix with the more lacy ones. This is like, it's actually a piece of a curtain from IKEA, but it's like bridal veil. So meshy, gauzy things are great. In general, you want things that are thicker and heavier, plus things that are nearly invisible, and you mix the two together. This is a different cut up little tablecloth. In this bin up here, I have some different thinner eyelet. This one has all kinds of the French laundry numbers, and these black ones are the French hat band numbers. So I have all of this available. I have, you know, you guys know, I have the things. So this one is the thicker bandage. So coffee dyed bandage, and this is coffee dyed cheesecloth. And so if I want something super meshy, I'll use cheesecloth. Otherwise, that one. You know, when you buy fabric from the quilting store, you can get these tiny little packs, and they're 2.5 inches squared. And they have like a little charm pack, but it's a mini charm. And so these ones are French General. And these are, I usually use French General fabrics, but these ones are 2.5 inches, and you can cut it down from there if it's too big, but it's just nice because you get a whole bunch of little tiny patterns all together. Here's the rest of that one. So you can see, you know, I try to keep things pretty neutral in my boxes. And then if I want pink, I'll pull in pink from another place. But in my box, I try to keep it pretty neutral because mostly I work in neutrals with pops of color when the journal depends on it, when the journal needs it, right? So in here, I've just got neutral. I've got some tatting. So there's tatting in here that I can cut off. I just keep it as a roll and then cut off the little pieces that I need. So there's tatting, and then some gold lace, a couple different ones of those. So that's just a very, very basic little box where I could sit down if I was watching TV and I could layer up, you know, I could layer up my fabric. I could layer up my lace. I don't know what one we'd put on here. Maybe we'd put like that. We'd have to have something back underneath of it. This is too big, but you know, say I put a little piece there. I need something thin on top. I know we're going to talk about this next week, but you know, maybe I put a button, some type of little button, and maybe some thinner lace. I don't know, but we're, you know, just on the fly here. We just make a little tiny cluster. Okay, but if you have it all in these little boxes, do you see how easy it is to just play when you're watching TV or something? So that's the way I like to keep this box, and I do just kind of shove them in there. The other thing is it really looks nice when you build clusters that are fabricy and lacy if your pieces are not perfectly square. Naturally, you're going to have some square pieces because you're cutting things up. But if you can cut a little crooked, I'm telling you, it will help. So anyway, that's that. We'll talk about this more next Friday, and we will play around with, I have a huge bin of other things. So let me show you a couple of those in case it, you know, you want to get it out too for next Friday. But these are crochet bits. So there's that one. Those are the small ones. These are the tiny bits, the tiny little crochet bits. So I mix those. All of this is now for lace fabric-y clusters. These are the bigger ones. So small, large bits. And then I have this. So if you don't want to put a button as a focal point, maybe you want something that looks like this, where you have like little embroidered ribbon roses. Maybe you want these little flowers. I have all different kinds of little flowers in here, and they're all in their little Ziploc bags so I can keep them color coordinated, or, you know, organized by color. But there's little chenille blue and pink flowers, these little ribbon flower things, little bows with flowers. These guys here look like that. So if I don't put a button, and sometimes I put a button and one of these, but you know, I like to keep these little bits organized. And so this bin was from Hobby Lobby, and I tried to find an empty one so I could put paper clustery things in it today, but I couldn't find an empty one. I have some somewhere. I don't know if Hobby Lobby still has them, but I really hope that they do, because the good thing about this bin is it has this lid and it clamps on from the side over here. But inside of here, all of these compartments come out. You could keep other things underneath, because these are set in, you know, ways. So you could put other things like bigger paper bits underneath and have your little bins sitting on top of them. So this is my ideal box for building clusters. I just couldn't find any empty ones today. But you can see you have a big square, you have a rectangle, and then you have a smaller rectangle. And then you have a bunch of these little cups. So I love these boxes. They were like $8.99 at Hobby Lobby. I'm telling you, Hobby Lobby's prices for storage, amazing. So anyway, that's some ideas for some fabric lacy clusters for Friday, for next Friday. All right. So let me see what else we didn't do. Oh, we didn't do these. For paper bits. These are the little mini dolls. If you're looking for them, they're just called mini paper dolls. And if you want to make sure they're the mini ones, there's 133 in a package. So his normal paper dolls are like 80 something. So the 133 is a key if you're looking for them on the internet. So mini paper dolls. I love those. Any type of his ephemera packs, they always have little paper bits, right? So those are great. I specifically like the paper strips. They just came out, one of his latest releases. These are amazing, amazing, amazing in clusters. So we're going to get to making some clusters here. Oh my gosh. I have so much stuff. You guys know that. But just think about adding these in your clusters. These strips are fabulous. Fabulous. So if you don't have the strips, yes, we can cut up our own strips. Yes, there are digitals on Etsy that are for washi tape that you could print and cut up and use your own strips. Yes, you could. But, you know, his stuff isn't very expensive, and I don't want to have to chop all that up. So, nor would I be able to find all those different patterns. So the strips, I'm definitely going to be using some of those tonight. They never go back in the package the same way they come out. Also, these. I have the small and the large. And this is the first thing that we're going to play with after I cut up some paper over here. Because I'm going to show you how to use these, the small ones, all put together like whole. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use the small ones whole. And then I'm going to show you a hack for using the big ones. So those we're going to play with. His ticket books. Obviously, if you don't have old tickets, his ticket book is amazing. So there's that. If you were lucky enough to get journal cards, he had these little pocket cards. I do like to cut up these and add these into Collage. It's cardstock, and you know, we can't really get this kind of Tim Holtz cardstock anymore. So there's a little hack for that. I have used these before. I have them here in case I want to use them. Generally, I have to cut these down if I do, but they're here in case I want to play. That's my Tim Holtz pile of possibilities tonight. Okie doke. These are coming on next Tuesday, and I have them in every color, the originals, so you guys can scan them and have them yourself too. But for tonight, I'm just going to cut up the ones I scanned, because why not use, they're going in clusters. Why not use the scanned ones and save your original? But if you're looking for these are coming next Tuesday. All right, let me move stuff out of my chair so I can sit down and start crafting with you guys. Oh, thanks for joining for a little bit, Betty. Have a nice night. Okie doke. You have one of those for salad in the fridge, the containers. They're awesome. I know that they make, because you guys know charcuterie boards are very, very popular right now, and they have all kinds of storage containers for charcuterie boards. So they have those little section compartments that you can pull out. I really like those containers. I almost bought one the other day because I was thinking I could use it for paper clusters, but then again, I figured I had enough and then I couldn't find mine. So I'm going to cut these quick. I'm going to give you guys time. Gather up some supplies if you don't have them already. I'm not going to cut all of these, but I'm going to cut some of them. And then I'm going to cut down some of these other bigger papers, and then we're going to get started. I know you guys see my hands in the videos. I usually try to wear very long sleeves, like I did wear long sleeves to cover. I have psoriasis, so I do have psoriasis flare going on. It is what it is. It's not anything bad, and it doesn't really affect me. It just looks like that on my hand. So it's just psoriasis. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut these up. And I'm just going to maybe cut like one strip of them just so that we can move on faster. So you could cut it in your trimmer, but for speed, I'm just going to go with scissors. And I'm not even caring if I don't get the whole ticket, because sometimes when you're making a collage, you don't need the whole ticket. You just need to peek a piece of it out somewhere. So there's that one. I'm just going to do one strip of each of these. Then we're going to move on to cutting up some book page. Then tonight we're going to focus on building paper clusters. And so when you make clusters, any kind of cluster, it's really just collaging. But instead of collaging on a piece of paper or in a book where you're gluing stuff down as you go, you have to make your collage up in the air as you're holding it. You could lay it down on the table, but for making clusters, you're probably going to hold it up in the air. And so we're kind of collaging up in the air freely. And we'll talk about formulas. There are certain formulas that I like to use. But then in the end, you just need to make what looks good to your eye. So just because I say there's a formula doesn't mean it has to be done that way. It's just saying that there's guidelines, but you do you, and you make whatever looks good to you. So I have all different ones of these in different sizes. And like I said, those are just rough scans. So hopefully when I do the digital, I will clean up those scans and make sure everything is, nicer for you guys. So I'm going to leave them just like, I'm going to cut up a few because I want to play with these. These are new because I just scanned them. So let's see. I'm just going to cut some. I just want a little pile of them. I like little piles of things when I make my clusters. That's the way my brain works. But some people, they will literally just dump everything in a bin because they need to see it all. So when they're digging through a bin, and your brain might work this way too. You might need to dig through the bin to get to see everything, because you might see something like, say this ticket is in a bin with a whole bunch of stuff, and you see it, and this ticket is what inspires you to pick this up and say, okay, I'm going to build a cluster around this, and oh, maybe this goes with it. Some people, they have to just see it all as they're digging through it for it to, come to life in their head, kind of. So that's one thing. Let's see. I'm just going to cut that guy off. He's small. So generally for clusters, you want things that to build your cluster, right? Not the piece that goes on the top or the couple pieces that go on the top to decorate it. But generally you want things that are maybe an inch or so would be the smallest that I would put in a cluster until I get to the top layer. And then the top layer, I usually put something smaller as a focal point. And the reason why I put something smaller on that top layer is because I want to see the other layers that are underneath of it. And so, when you're doing these clusters, you're going to have to cover up bits and pieces of things. And that's the thing that I think most people struggle with when they're making clusters, is they don't want to cover up something. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you have to get over that. You're going to cover up something. It's just the way clusters work, right? And so I promise you, if you do get over worrying about what you're covering up, you're going to be happier with what you end up with in the end. Okay, let's get going on. I'm going to cut up a couple of these. I'm just going to cut them freehand. We're going to get what we get. I just want some to play with. And I might not want the whole card, you know. So let's do like a diamond. So I'm just cutting some strips and some squares, basically. I wanted some hearts because maybe I was thinking about doing Valentine's Day, but we don't have any in here. So there we go. We have some cards. So right now I'm just making more piles. And if I had more space in my box, I would be putting all of these in my box, which at some point, you know, I might try to get some in there. But there's those. And then for the paint chips, I'm just going to pick out a couple and we're going to go with it. So let me do one of these green ones. We can do a blue too, and let's do a pink. And maybe a yellow. Just some basic colors, right? So there's that. You slide these out of the way. And so here's what I have for paint chips. Let's do paint chips in half from the bottom section. Right there. And like that. So I ended up with that. And then these guys, I'm going to do these in strips. And they're more or less to either give structure or color. And so this one, I'm going to go like this in half. And then I'm going to do the bottom three, the darker three, in strips. Yeah, you do have to get over covering things up. That's the thing that most people struggle with, including myself. Like, you know, I'm the same as everyone else. If I see something beautiful, I don't want to cover it up. But you do have to when you're building clusters. It's just the nature of it, right? Because you can't have everything shown if you want to glue stuff on top of each other. And the other thing we need to talk about is how you're assembling your cluster. So you can glue pieces. You can use the Tim Holtz tiny attacher to get your pieces, you know, stuck together in the end. There's many different things, and I'll show you both because I have the tiny attacher in here, and I have a lot of scraps, so I really probably don't need to cut up much of this stuff. But let me grab some rag paper. Because I don't know. I might have rag paper in there, but let me cut up just 2 pieces together of rag paper. I like using rag paper in everything because you guys know I love rag paper, A. But B, rag paper is a texture. It's a specific texture. The other thing is with rag paper, it's so old that when you use it in a cluster, you're instantly going to get that authentic vintage feel that we're all looking for anyway, right? This is some handwriting. And so when I'm cutting up my pieces, I am specifically trying to cut where there is more white space, more open space. So you see here, you know, there's 2 lines of handwriting and I cut in between them. When you're cutting up your pieces, try to cut where you're dividing that white open space in half. That way you're left with more, you know, detail. And so for this one, I'm just going to chop it. I'll cut this one this way. And I might chop it there. So just cut your pieces up. That's step 1. Again, I'm cutting in between. I'll leave that one big. And then we'll cut these ones down like this. I don't care if they're not square perfectly. Honestly, in clusters, it doesn't matter. So there's one of those. This paper has a lot of ink on it, and somebody drew on it. These are super old pages. Let's go right here. And then let's go up the middle so I can get those headers up there. I won't cut it all. I'm just going to cut some. This is super old rag paper dictionary too, and this is one of my favorites. The texture on that rag paper, I don't know if you guys can see it. I think you can a little bit up there at the top. See the texture? That's because it's laid. When they make it, it's actually laid paper. And so it gets this wonderful texture that you can feel. So when you use vintage things, you end up with a vintage look, right? And you don't have to worry about like faking it as much, right? So that's one of the reasons why I like to use vintage things, because you don't have to fake it. If it's old, it's going to look old. And for rag paper, I don't mind that there's open white space because it does have that unique texture to it. So if you're using newer book page, you know, you can leave the white, that's fine too. But sometimes you might want to cut it off. So I don't think I need to cut all of those. And I probably have some ledger, but I know I don't have these two ledgers. So if you guys sit with me for just a minute, I'm going to chop it. And I'm going to be rather ruthless and just go for it. I know I don't have any purple handwriting ledger, and these pieces are still stuck together, so I have to chop them. So maybe I want to make a cluster, and so other ways to talk about clusters, but maybe I want to make a cluster that's color themed where everything is purple in the cluster, or not everything, but the primary color is purple. So you can color theme them. You can theme them to, like, you know, a particular period where everything is Victorian, or everything is steampunky looking, like a theme like that, you know? There's many different ways of doing it. Okay, we're good. I'm not cutting up anything else unless I have to. I think we're good. Let's build some. Okay, building clusters, exercise and collage. We already talked about that. So anything that we're going to do tonight to build a cluster, you can do to cluster onto a journal page. So to collage onto a journal page. So here's kind of how I'm setting up my desk. I have my pile of scraps, and I'm going to keep that right over here where you guys can kind of see it, but it is off camera a little bit over there. I'll move it slightly. Okay. And then I've got these little cut up pieces that we just did with the playing card and the little stock certificates and paint chips. I've got my ledger up here, trying to pull it into camera. I've got my dictionary, because this is kind of important, how you set up your desk if you want to have a cluster making session. And then over here, sorry, that was loud. Over here, I've got my music paper. So this is the way my desk is set up, where I've got everything right in front of me. And this box I'm going to set behind me because we're not playing with it tonight. And that way I can put my actual paper box over here. So hopefully you guys can see some of that. I don't know if you will or won't, but not really. Okay, maybe I could set it here and we could bring it in. Let's see. I got to set up my desk. I just moved my whole thingy. There we go. All right, so I guess clusters are just, you know, scraps are just right here. I can't fit it all on. I pulled too much stuff. All right, so I wanted you guys to be able to kind of see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So I'm trying to get that all in there. That's basically it. I mean, there's another row that you can't see, but the little Tim Holtz people are over here at the very end. Okay. Can I just move these? Sorry. We're doing it, I promise. I just need to be able to reach it all too. Okay. We're kind of good there. All right. So as I was saying, when you build a cluster, you can do anything that we're going to do tonight, and you can do it on a journal page. You just glue it down to a journal page. So some people, they just like to do collaging, like in an art journal or something like that. So if you're not into constructing clusters to save them to decorate with later, and you would rather just go ahead and do your collage directly on your paper by gluing it, then everything I'm doing tonight will still work for that. But if you want to build the clusters to put into a storage container to have on hand, you do it the way that I'm going to do it on camera. But just so you know, you can do what I'm doing tonight and glue it all down to a page and just make that page an art journal page, or just a decorated collage journal page in a journal. So I'm just saying, you could do it either way. Okay, starting. Emboss on rag paper? Yes. Yes, I do. Does anyone have any questions? Hugs to you, Wendy, too. Does anyone have any questions before I start? Because I did not look at chat for a little bit there. Does anyone have any questions before I start? You can buy rag paper from me in the Tuesday Night Live sales. I sell it in packs of just rag paper pages, and I also sell the books whole so that you can have a whole book of rag paper. I don't sell during the craft with me's though, because I do like to keep those two things separate. Because not everybody is interested in that, and so I don't do it while I'm live crafting. Okay, if no one else has a question, we're going to get going. The way that I like to build my cluster is I like to start with the biggest thing and work my way to the smallest thing. So the biggest thing will be in the back, and the smallest thing, the final decoration, the focal point, will be on the top. In general, I like to have, in all honesty, at least 5 pieces in my cluster. So 5 items in my cluster. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 12, but I generally aim for at least 5. And it's because I want to see a bunch of different things. If you build a cluster and you just start out by putting, 3 things in a cluster, you can do it that way. Absolutely. Like I said, there's not any rules, but if you only put a couple of things in a cluster, you don't get very much variety. And so I think it generally looks better if you can put more in it, right? So, I can do a little cluster and I can arrange it however I want to arrange it. It doesn't have to go, you can put your text upside down. You'll see me, I often will. It doesn't matter which way your text is going. It doesn't matter if things, like you could put a bird upside down. It really doesn't matter. If you have a bird on a piece of paper, like it's a pattern scrapbooking paper, it doesn't matter if it's upside down. We're not focusing on any of the elements in the background really at all. The final element will be when you put your focal point on the front. And so that's really the only thing that I worry about, not being covered up, A, and being right side up, B. So any of this stuff in the background you can do whatever you want with. But if you only have 3 pieces, it's just not enough, right? It needs more. So from here, and I'll talk to you about kind of my way of doing it too, is I like to make that back piece as sturdy as I can, because then I can use thinner pieces. Like this paper here is pretty thin. I can use thinner things on top because it has that base structure. The other thing is I like, my little formula in my brain is I like to have something with texture, either texture from Braille paper, texture from, like a cheesecloth or something, texture from antique paper, whatever, but I do focus on texture. And then I like to mix in something that has handwriting on it. So something handwritten and something with text printed on it. So those are some basic things for how to start. So something sturdy, and then mix up at least 3 pieces, because this is the base, right? So something sturdy, and then I went with something with handwriting, something with text. And you can see when I flipped this one over, I like this side better. So, you do want to look at both sides of your paper. So I've got kind of something that looks like this. I might play with that a little bit. Just try to get something going here. I kind of like this arrangement. So I'm just moving shapes around until they look good to my brain. And right now I'm building a very large cluster. In the end, you'll see that I like to build small ones too. So that's my base. 3 little pieces: texture, handwriting, and text. From here, we could go with something that has some pattern, some kind of, I don't know, something with pattern. We could add a little ticket. It has a little bit of pattern to it. Maybe we want that poking out up here somewhere. I kind of like this side of it, so I might move it around a little bit. In the end, I might end up sticking it right here. But notice how I'm building my cluster. I'm holding it with my fingers. So you literally just build your clusters up in the air like this while you're holding them. In the end, you can go through and you can glue everything down, or you can use the tiny attacher and just go in there and staple it. And most of the time I'll use the tiny attacher to hold it. And then say my end focal point would be this little girl. So I'll use the tiny attacher to staple it to hold it all together. And then I will cover up my staple because I don't like to see them. And I will cover it up by gluing on my focal point. And then if I feel like it is too flimsy, then I will go in and just tack down a little bit of it from underneath with some glue. But that's kind of my favorite way to assemble, to actually, like, I don't know, stick these things together, is to put it together in my hand, staple it, cover up my staple with my focal point, and then I'll tack down whatever I feel like needs to be tacked down. Like you might only catch a tiny little piece of this paper, so you might actually need to glue a little bit underneath. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm going with this one. I don't know about that yet. So it can go, but didn't really strike me as my favorite. So I'm just looking with something with some texture, some pattern, something pretty. I don't want to mix too many blues. So you just got to play with it. And so you're going to see, I'm going to move things around a little bit until I find what I'm looking for. So I like this. And the reason why I chose it is because this little blue kind of goes with this. So maybe we'll work this in here. And so I don't want to cover up things, right? But I can get this here. And I've got my braille sticking out the bottom. I can still see everything. Like I said, you're going to have to get over covering things up. But that looks pretty good there. So I might do that. That's 4 things. Let's see what else we need. We don't have any music yet. So maybe we'll get some music paper in there. And so I'm just kind of thumbing through for like the right size piece. This one just floated up to the top and it's actually got blue music. So maybe I can get some blue music up there. Okay, that's not too terrible. We've got blue music. I mean, I don't want to stick her over her face. So again, you're going to have to get over covering things up. So I could stick her on there, but if I was going to stick her on there, I'm going to need something else underneath of it. I kind of like this rose sticking down. So let's go ahead and find something else in my scrap pile here. I know what I'm looking for. I just don't know if I can find it. There's some beautiful handwritten paper in here. I already have Ledger. Let's see. I want to stick her, I think, on the top. So don't really want any more color. I'm looking for that little handwritten French document that I had in the beginning of my life. I don't know if I will find it, but it doesn't look like it's going to come to surface. So maybe we'll put that there. And then maybe we'll put that there. And that's not terrible. That's okay. I could live with that. It's kind of cute. So oh, Ruth, I'm so sorry, but you're not allowed to promote other people in my live chat. The little group rules are up there at the top. And I might support that person, but you cannot be promoting other people in my live chat. Okay, so let me scroll up. Sorry. Every day is like Friday. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So let's see. There we go. Let me get rid of these. Okay, so as I'm saying, we did that. And then for this one, if I considered this done, I would staple it. But I don't want to staple through my girl. I just want to kind of get the stapler in there, put a staple. There we go. And then I will glue my little girl on. And so for gluing over the staple, I do like to use the art glitter. You could probably use like a glue stick. It might stay, but because it's going over that metal staple, like the art glitter. And so you could ink. I did not ink anything. You could ink if you wanted to, but there's that one. And so this one going on a page would be kind of a pretty big focal point. You might actually be better sticking this on a pocket or something like that. If this little piece right here, how it's not straight, bothers you like it's bothering me, then just trim it. But other than that, I mean, you know, you're just going to sit and you're going to do these really, really quick. So there's one, and we're going to do a whole big bunch of them. But that one would probably go on a pocket, right? Now, I'm probably going to come back in. I'm not going to do it, you know, while we're live right now, but unless you guys want to see it, but I'm probably going to come back in. The glue's open. Just do it. I just need to tack down a little bit more of this. So I'm just going underneath and adding a little bit of glue and stuff under here because it just needs to be a little more secure for me. So it's just simple to do it, but I don't want anything to fall apart. I do sell my journals and I don't want anybody to get something where it's, you know, it's falling apart. So the other thing that you can do with your clusters is you can make them into little page embellishments where they slide down over the top or over the side. Once you've assembled all these layers, they generally act as little paper clips almost. All right, so there's that one. Moving on, let's do some more. We're going to see how many we can get done tonight. Now, you know, we've got quite a bit of time, so we can probably accomplish quite a few clusters here. All right, let's start out with something else as a base, like maybe the thicker ledger paper as a base. Maybe we should do a smaller one too, because we just did a pretty good size one. So let's try to do a smaller one. It's not much smaller at the moment, but we might cut some off. So I've got ledger, which means, you know, I probably need some text. I want to go smaller, so I'm looking for a smaller piece of text. Any of these will work. So I've got some text back there. And just because I said this is my base, it doesn't really have to go back there. But anyway, we've got some text and we've got some ledger. I kind of want it to go like this. Okay, text and ledger. And then I've got to get some handwriting out of this pile. This is the problem with not having it in a bin, is it just wants to slide into my lap in my chair. This is a beautiful piece of text. Let's use that. So this one is antique German rag paper. And so you can see the German books usually have this beautiful font. So let's use that one. And then I think I might just line it up like this, where we've got it kind of parallel to each other. One is tucked under the other, but they're kind of parallel at the moment. I'm trying to make this a small cluster, but it's not really working. They tend to grow as we build them. Okay, so from here, we need some pattern. We need some color. We need something to zhuzh it up. I don't really want to use one of those again. I would really like to keep this one more in the antique family. So what do we got down here? We've got, I need to move all of these to one side. There we go. That's better. So if I wanted to do some pink, because my ledger paper has some pink in it, maybe I want to do this one more pink. So we could tuck in some pink somewhere in here. See, you know why I'm struggling right now? It's because I don't want to cover things up. And what did I say about it? We've just got to do it. Okay, so here's the problem. If your papers are too close to the same size, your eye is just going to want, it's not going to know what to do. You've got to have pieces that are different size so that you can arrange them. So this one's going to go down here at the bottom. And it's a little bit too big. And so, you know, trim it as you need to trim it. There we go. We're getting that smaller cluster I promised you guys. So we've got some pink in the ledger, some pink in the pattern paper, some German book page that's on rag paper. And then let's go ahead and do, did we have any pink little tickets? We've got blue. We've got a pink paint chip. I would like to get some more pink in here. We've got these little mauve-y paint chips. That one might be okay. It might be a little bit much though. We're going to look at that. Then we need to find maybe a ticket. So I'm going very pink at the moment. These are actually little stickers. They actually have sticker backing on them. You can use stickers, just don't take the backing off. I mean, you could take the backing off, but I'm not going to because I'm going to leave it a piece of paper. It's totally fine to do that too. So I've got this ice coupon. I'm going to put it like that. And that's not my focal point. So I've just made this little cluster and I'm lining things up because I'm getting ready to staple it. I think I want to staple it there, but before I put my staple there, I'm going to find my focal point. And for this one, we did, you know, pretty pinky things. Let's try to do a flower on here, like a German scrap flower. I don't know about the color of this one, but let's see. That's not bad. We could do that. Let me see if there's a better colored one. I have lots of the same. This one is better. It's just a little bit different tone. Not you. You go back in there. So anyway, I think we're ready to staple. Before you staple, just make sure everything is lined up right, because once you staple it, you don't want to have to pull the staple out. So line it up. Stick your focal point on there. Yep, I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to do that one. And then there's that one. Now, when you're doing it at home, there's a fruit fly in here. When you're doing it at home, you're just going to go faster and you're going to get a lot more done. Okay, which way does he go? He goes like that. All right, so let's glue him on. Normally, when I'm sitting at home and I'm making these, you know, not live, I will not glue on my focal point to any of them until the very, very end. I will just put my focal point in the stack, and then at the very end, I'll mass make and just glue on all my focal points over my staples. So I'll staple it, and then I'll put the focal point on, and then I'll just stack them all up. And then in the end, I will go ahead and go through and staple. This little rose needs glued down or it's going to pull off. And so for this one, I would probably tack down a few more things, but I'll do it off camera so that you guys don't have to just sit here while I glue. The fun part is watching someone collage, right? Not watching gluing. So anyway, let's build one where we have, let me grab those other pieces that I have behind me. Let's glue one or do one. I have those other tickets behind me too. Let's do one where we start out with these, because these, I don't use these as whole strips when I'm doing clusters. What I generally do, and that's why I have this one left open, is I will take these and I will chop them up so that I have more fun little colorful bits over here in my tray. So I'm going to cut a few and put them in there. But when you're cutting these up, you want to leave some bigger and then just leave some where you're just cutting the one little piece. It doesn't really matter, you know, as far as what's on it. You just need to cut them up to the sizes. Like we could build one with this pretty pink one. Let's do a neutral one. That'll work. So for the neutral one, say I like this part. So I'm just going to slice that. I actually like both of these parts. Let's just do both. But how I normally would fill up my little tray is I would say, okay, I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to cut out that little sentiment right there. Maybe I just need some black in something. I'll cut it like this. So I have one big piece and one medium. And then I will keep all my little bits, like the little sentiment and the little bits that I chop up from these strips in the little tray. So let's do these two neutral color ones. Neutrals are my favorite. I think they're the easiest thing to work with too, is just neutral color palette. So this guy's got little daisies on him. Let's do something with those daisies. Maybe we put dictionary in this one. Let's find a little piece of dictionary. Here's some illustrated dictionary with a bird on it. That's pretty happy. We're going to cover him up because he's just right in the center of our cluster anyway. So we've got a little bird there. I know I had a yellow strip of paint. I don't know if I want that mustardy yellow or if I want one of these. But see how these paint strips are just great for adding color? Like I've got these little yellow daisies down here and I'm just trying to like, you know, build that yellow into my cluster. So I could do something like that. Maybe we move our little birdie over. I think we're just going to stick it on this side. So we stick it on that side. I don't want to cover up my bird, but you know it's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen. I'm going to move it over and up so that I can hopefully not chop it off. Okay, so we've got 3 things. We need some handwriting, some ledger, something to that effect. We've got text in there. Here's some handwriting. We're getting kind of a large cluster again. And that's okay because they're great for decorating. You can decorate a whole pocket, a whole page that way, right? Okay, so we've got that going. I like that. Maybe the last thing before I do a focal point would be a little bit of music. And I kind of like this bold music right here, but I don't really need the whole thing of it. So let's just do some snipping and see how I like this. So you're just working your collage. So I start with a minimum of 5 things and then add what I need to add. Can get that music in there. Maybe we put the music down here. That works. I can still see my daisies. They're peeking out the top up there. I'm going to tighten this cluster up a little bit to where I don't have quite as much space being taken up. So you just tailor it, tailor it. I've got daisies showing on both sides. I think I'm pretty happy there. I want to cover up that little paint chip advertising bit in the middle, but I still want to see my bird. Okay, I think we're good there. But what kind of focal point are we going to put on this one? It's very yellow. I've got these kind of mustardy. They really look great right there, but I want to cover up my bird. Like I said, gotta get over it. So I really like these stamps. I think we should get these stamps in here somewhere. Maybe even just poking out the top like that. Like that's good. What else can we put in there? So we've got stamps. Maybe we need a little number. That looks pretty good. I kind of wanted something floral, but I don't think I'm going to have something that's going to match this well enough. Like I have little butterflies, but they're pretty bright. Maybe we will do it. So let's get that on there. We're going to have to add our stamps and our number later. I'm going to go ahead and staple. Don't move. And then sometimes when you staple, one will not be enough and, you know, something is too small and it will fall out. So just be aware of that too. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to glue those stamps on. I'm going to put this number on, and then I think I might put this little butterfly here. So we've got bird, butterfly, daisies, all different kinds of things. So for this one, normally I would use a glue stick. I do have one. I didn't think I brought one in. So let me use a glue stick, and I'm going to glue on this because I don't have anything else at the moment. But I'm going to put glue on that so I can stick it on. So I'm being fussy and I'm, decorating this one. It doesn't matter. It came apart. We're going to stick it on anyway. I'm being fussy with this one. You don't have to be as fussy. I just really like the way that the daisies were showing. So I've glued it. Where's my cluster? There it is. And so I'm going to stick these stamps back on. There's one. I want them to go the right way. There's 2. And the stamps with the glue stick are actually going to help hold my cluster together. The Oohoo glue stick really does last, and it holds really well. I can't figure out which way his head is this way. It's like that. Okay. So there's my stamps. You could have glued them to a piece of paper too, and that would have thickened them up. And then normally I probably would have inked around this, but for today, I'm not going to. So start with some texture, some sturdiness, build up your color story, whatever kind of theme you're looking for. I don't know exactly where I want that yet. Yeah, that'll work. So there's that. I got a little number, and then I got a little butterfly. How do you guys like making clusters so far? Is anyone actually making clusters with me, or am I just making clusters with myself? There we go. There's my little butterfly. Move him up just a hair. There we go. And I covered up my staple, and there's that. Now I'll have to come back in and tack some things down, but that's a cute one. That could go right on a page. Like you could even decorate the top edge of a page like that. And so if you glued him on and glued him together, he could be a tuck that way on a page. So it's just great fun to sit here and play with your little bits of paper. If you're like me and you love paper, then there's really nothing better than this. So you're just playing. I said I was going to do this one, and I thought it might be nice to try to get a piece of a real card. I don't know how it will look yet, but a real card in with these fake card clubs here. So maybe we can get something like this going or that going. We'll have to play around. I need some text. So I've just got a massive pile of scraps in front of me, and I need to do some with these digitals back here too. So I need some kind of text, and I have this lovely piece of rag paper dictionary. It's going to be a very big cluster maybe. Trying to make that card work. I think we're going to go like this. So we have a very large cluster. We're going to have to make some small ones. Okay. So then maybe I picked up this piece of music paper. And again, I don't really care if it's going the right way or if it's upside down. It doesn't really matter to me. I just visually want it to look nice. And so there's that one. I've got very, very neutrally things going on. That can go over there. It's in my way. And then what else? Left my glue open. That's never a good thing. Like I said, in Arizona, you cannot leave it open. Okay. We need some text or some scripty handwriting in here. That can definitely go there. It might be the wrong size, but it can definitely go there. It's a little too big. So let me set my cluster down. And let me put my cap on my glue. And then I'm going to cut down this handwriting and get that in here. So let's trim off a little bit on the side. There's just a little bit too much white showing there for me. And see how I like it now. So I've got this going. And I've got that going. That's pretty good. I like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces right now. We need to start thinking about wrapping it up and getting some type of focal point in there. But I'm looking at this braille paper behind me, and I'm really wishing that I could get a piece of braille paper in here. I just think it will look nice. So I've got kind of something like that. I need it to come out the side, and I don't want my cluster to get super big. Let's see what other kind of shapes I've got back here. Ooh, I have a nice base for a cluster. That's really, really nice. Okay, I'm glad I did it. We've got the braille in there now. So all of my dictionary that you can see is this tiny little bit up here at the top. But it also gives me all this. This is natural aging. I didn't ink it. That's just natural. So that's awesome that it's back there. And this is going to be a really big cluster, but it's going to be very sturdy at the same time because it's got the braille behind it. I'm good. I just need to wrap it up and get the focal point. Now for this one, it's so large, you probably could put a regular Tim Holtz person on there. And in fact, I wish that I did have some big ones in here, but I don't think I do. I could do this little couple. That's not bad. They're a little small. They're not super terrible though. They're not super terrible. They're just a little small. Let's see if maybe I can make them visually look bigger by adding something behind them or next to them or something to add a little bit more to them. I really like this label, but I wish it was bigger. I don't think the black and white ones come in a bigger size. So I might do something like that. It just makes my top layer look visually a little bit bigger. So this is definitely a page embellishment because it is very large. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and staple. We got very large with that one. And I don't know that I got my card in there, but I don't really want to put another staple because I don't know if those people are going to cover it up. So then at that point, I would just add a little tack of glue just to hold it. There we go. And then we're going to put our people on. I've got stuff stuck to my sleeve. I like these people, but I do wish I brought some bigger ones in here. I didn't anticipate building a whole big page cluster, but we did. It just grew. So there's that one. And then I need to get this little label under here. And I'm going to go right there with it. Perfect. Let me look at chat too. How are you guys doing out there? Who's got big plans for the weekend? Anybody got big plans for the weekend? Need to get it right up under there. Come on, lady. Move your skirt. There we go. A little too high. There we go. Okay. There's that guy. I love it. I think it's very cute. Now you could ink around it, but anyway, there's the two neutral ones that we made. You love it, Jackie? They're so addicting to make. All day crop tomorrow. That's fun. Paper flowers would be great. I had a bin and I meant to bring it in here, but I did not. But you could definitely put little paper flowers at the top of them. I left that bin in my actual craft room. So let's do one where we've got some color. Like, let's do one of these ones down here with the offcuts of some printed digitals. Let's play with printed digitals. So I do have ones that kind of like naturally color coordinate together. So that's helpful. But let's go ahead and play with these. So I've got some little strips. So even these little strips, like this is just scraps, right? And normally, you know, there's not a whole lot on them. There's just some color. And these might be headed towards the bin because, like, you know, what can you do with them? I know I showed you guys how to lay them up and make the little tag dingles, but these are great to put into the collages, the little clusters that we're building, because they do add color and there is some background pattern to it. So we will play with those. Let's start out with playing with, you know, I'm going to play with this aqua one and these roses. I mean, how can I not? That just has to happen. So let's do that. The problem is I'll probably build a gigantic cluster again. So let's get a little piece of that. And then let's see if I can get a piece of the rose. Might need to do this one up here. I don't know. Let's just play with it. And let's play with it. So I will end up using all of my little bits. I didn't cut very straight at all, but it's okay. I will end up using all of my little bits when we're done. So we've got two pieces here that are printed digitals, and they both have color and pattern on them. So we really need to work on adding the neutrals in, the texty book page, the handwriting, that kind of thing. So I'm going to move these printed digitals off to the side so that I can see the rest of my things here. These are on cardstock. They're on 65-pound cardstock. I have had some questions. So let me just say the 65-pound cardstock that I print on, it's the Nina one, and you can get it on Amazon. And it is my stock of choice, my cardstock of choice, because it's sturdy, but it's not going to add too much bulk. When you're doing a whole journal, like these journals, when you're doing a whole journal, they will get super, super gator mouth if you use very thick cardstock. So I like to use the 65-pound for pockets, for tags, for any kind of, embellishing in there. The 110, I think you can use it, but it over the course of decorating a whole journal, it does start to bulk it up. So let's go ahead back to this one. I'm going to add some, you got to have some fancy handwriting in here, right? Because we're building a very fancy little cluster. So that looks pretty good. I might try this piece instead. I just wasn't a big fan of that one. Okay. So the problem is I have my rose here, and I'm not going to cover it up. So we're going to have to add some other things. Let's do these little tickets that I printed over here because they're the right color. So I've got these ones that are, pretty aqua in color, but I also have, and see how everything's just becoming one pile. That's okay too. I will try to keep it separated, but that's okay if it becomes one pile. I want one of these ones in the back, and I thought I cut one out, but I do not see it. So let's cut one of these. If you ink all around all of your pieces as you're building your clusters are going to take a very long time. So I generally would not ink as I'm going because it would just take too long, So I have this long strip of tickets. Like I can get that in there. And if you see that, you have some extra tickets that no one is going to see, you could snip them off and save them. I generally don't, but you could. I'm just saying. You don't have to just leave them covered up and wasted. You could cut them off under there. Okay, so there's that. That's not bad. I want to see what it looks like going the other way. And I don't like that way because it's the end of it. Okay, so there we go. We're doing it like that. So we have some aqua, and we have some handwriting, and we have this rose down here at the bottom. We need something else pinky in here. So let's find some pink. And if you notice, I'm trying to stagger, I didn't really talk about it, but I'm trying to stagger all of my edges. I don't want anything lined up to each other at all. I want all of them staggered because that's the way that you get those little peaks of pattern and texture showing, right? So there's that so far. I want something pink. That might be like too much in here. I mean, it's lovely. It's the right colors, but it might just be too much pattern. I don't know if there can be a thing, but so the way that I'm building this one right now, it's going to go on a page as a tuck. So I think we're okay with that. Investigate it up here. Bring that pink up to the top. That kind of looks nice. So we're doing a very linear one that we can use as a tuck on the edge of a page. So I like all of that. I didn't get any French ledger in here. So let me try to find some pinkish French ledger. Like here's one that has aqua blue and pink. So if I put that one in, we're really, really getting big. But I do love this one. I don't know how I can not have it. I have to have it. So it has to work. That little piece, there's not really anything to hold on to. So he's just kind of floating out there. You might have to go against my rules. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do that one right there. Are we? He's going to go on top. He just needs a trim. So I hate to lose all of that like natural aging right there, but there's too much white space for me. And then I pick it all back up. That's the only bad thing is like you have to constantly pick it up and rearrange it. But sometimes when you put it down and you pick it back up, you pick it back up and, something new shows itself to you. And so you end up with, something unexpected. So there's that. And I'm thinking I can try to get it somewhere down here. I don't know how, but See, I want it down there. Yes. Okay, so we're good there. I like it. We're going to put a focal point on. I'm just trying to get them all straight so that I can staple. It's hanging out a bit, but we're good. We're going to staple that one. I'm tired of trying to rearrange it. And I'm going to add a little bit of tacked glue because this little pink piece, he has nothing to hold on to. So he needs a little bit of glue back there because he was not long enough to go down here where I stapled. And neither is this ledger one because it just moved. So let's tack that one too. And so I built a nice big cluster that can be a tuck in the end. Those are all put together. And so he still needs a focal point because I put a staple in there. So let's find a focal point for this one. I don't really want to put a person, but you know what might be nice is just a pink stamp to cover up that staple. Or maybe an aqua or some color one that will match what we've got going on here. I have these little guys. I think they kind of compete with this one. So let's look for something else. There's this one, which is pinkish toned. There's this one, which is darker pinkish toned. It still kind of competes with this one. Let me think about something else. Those weren't terrible, but maybe we just need like a little pink number or a little pink ticket from behind me. Maybe that's what we need. I didn't bring over the little tickets yet. Let's go get those. A little quote would be nice. Styles of 1900. Do we need that to cover up my staple? It's a little strange in all honesty. Okay. Let's see. We have tickets. A map piece would be good. Here's a light ticket. I might want this little light ticket down here. Let me hang on to that. It just looks good down there. When you pick something up, it's just going to find a home. I want to play with that, but not on this one. I found it and I just want to play with it now. Okay, so that's what I have. It's okay where it's at, but it definitely has to have something here. So let me grab some little tickets from behind me. I'm thinking I want this one. So these, let me cut off one and see if I like that, because now we've got this whole ticket like trio going on. I think that's fine. It's a lot of tickets, but I like it. Okay, so we're going to glue over our staple, tack down my little ticket. And I'm going to move it over so it's not perfectly lined up with this blue ticket going there. And then this one is just one of those thin, he normally would have got glue stick on him. It's just one of those little thin pieces of paper that you get in those packs of little reproduction ephemera on Amazon. And I like the fact that he's going to tie both of these pieces together. They were kind of loose right there. So we have a whole lot of tickets going on that one. I still think I'll put another piece on there, but for now, let me tack this because this little ledger piece is floating too much. Okay, there we go. One more little thing because I don't like just that right there. Do I have some kind of... We're getting super busy now. Super busy. So generally, it's better to plan out your whole entire thing before you staple or glue because like me right now, you don't love it. It needs something. Like you got to have some other little decoration there. It's just too much, too much. Okay. Well, we're going to have to stick a little something to calm it down. Something to calm it down. I need a little neutral something. Yeah, something neutral. I don't like any of those. Well, if all else fails and I can't find something, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera again. If I can't find something that is in my colorway that I want, then I will go to these. And if these are too big, then I will pull out the smaller one like this. but I'm pretty sure I just found exactly what I want, which are these, the little strips. Okay, so in the little strips, we have a multitude of options for this pink guy right here. And I know there were some very beautiful little pattern pieces. That's lovely, but it would have needed to go back there. Let me see. I'll cut off something here. Ooh, music would have been nice. Music would have been really nice. We might cut off a little bit of music. So there's ledger, there's the little ends. This is another option for your fabric clusters too, is the little selvage edge. Selvage edge? Yes, that. Okay, we've got bees. I have a pink bee journal that needs, well, 4 of them that need to be finished. That's kind of nice. Is that one piece? It is one piece. All right. I think it's going to be music. There's even teeny tiny little strips. So you know how you get a lot of strips if you print your digitals out? You get a lot of tiny strips like this that you don't know what to do with in the end because they just keep accumulating in your box of ephemera. This one is also nice. You can use just strips and build clusters out of just strips of paper that are super skinny like this. I keep trying to put botanical on there. Okay, I think we're just going to go with what I've got. Look at all those beautiful strips, though. Those are fun. I'm leaving those out. Don't play with those again. So I think I'm going to do music. It's just got a lot, and I want to calm it down. So I'm going to snip a piece of music, and I'm going to glue that on there. And it just needs to have a little place for my eye to rest. There's so much going on and so much pattern. I just need a little place for my eye to rest. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces on this one. And that's where I left it. Now, in all honesty, I might trim off that ledger piece. As much as I don't want to, it just hangs out a little bit too much for me. And I'm not afraid to edit. Much better. Much better. You guys, I just needed a little bit more slender over here. Cool. Okay, moving on. And I ended up with a little strip of my own. That was cool. Happy accident. What else should we play with? Suggestions? Hello, Kim. Thanks for joining. Lisa, happy birthday, Lisa. Happy birthday. Oh my goodness. Yep, Tim Holtz ephemera. Okay. Let's find something else where we build one with the little strips. These little strips right here, they're so easy to build clusters with. Obviously, they're already strips and clusters, but I built a lot of clusters, like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I literally just took one of these and started building and put it with Braille paper and mixed in some other color and pattern, and they're just so easy to build from. You're going to cover up the middle section of it, but they're just so easy to build from. So I've already got Braille behind it. It's super sturdy. Let's add some music, some, I don't know, some handwriting. Let's just find some beautiful things and add it. So that music is completely upside down. My words are upside down. I don't care. I just like it where it is. So that's fine. I have this little strip of purple. This is actually on cardstock, and it's just an offcut that I couldn't find a home for when I was doing the other little things. I don't want to cover up all my Braille, but I do kind of like it peeking out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave it peeking right there. It's a good home for it. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. We really should look at kind of getting near our focal point. So the little tags, they're great for giving your focal point a place to sit. You saw me do the little tag underneath the people in that neutral colored one. sometimes your eye just needs that resting place to focus in on your focal point. And I know that's weird because, you know, you're putting a focal point on it, but in all honesty, sometimes it just needs a little place to sit. Like, that's not terrible, but I think I can probably do better. So what else do we have in here? I mean, that's not terrible either, but again, I think I can do better. So we're going to wait. Little birdies have to stay in there. I was looking for a butterfly because I would like to use one, but I don't know if I have one that goes with this. Okay, well, we'll wait on the butterfly. What about all these little thingies back here? Oh, I forgot to use her. Dang it. She could go on there. She kind of competes with these people down here, though. Well, wait, but we're going to use her. Maybe just a nice stamp on paper. Here's just a little lavender stamp. It's a little different color of lavender. I would like a stamp on paper. I want the old paper look. Yeah, definitely. That's what is so nice about these is you just get this perfect rough torn edge and you get cancels and all that kind of stuff. They're really fun to play with. There are a lot of those around, the stamps on paper. These ones are French, but there are a lot around that are American too. So those are accessible. Digging. I'm looking for a purple one. I know there should be purple ones in here. If there's not purple, I might have to do blue. Like this one here, it's a whole corner of an envelope. It has other stamps inside of it. It's kind of nice. I mean, I really wanted purple, but that might be as close as I can get right now. It's that one or this one. I kind of like this one. So I think we're going to just do that. But see how fast with all of that pattern and color back there with those little Tim Holtz, and these are the small collage strips. It's just really nice. I like it. So that's a nice cluster. I'm going to do it. The only thing is I'm going to hide my staple with my stamp. Yes, that one. I love the input. Usually whenever they tell me what to do, what to put it there, like, you know, they're giving me their opinion. Usually, even if I ask them, my eye just sees it differently because, like, you know, everything through the camera is just slightly different. So just making sure everything is straight. That one's not really in there, and neither is this one. So we need to do a little tacking before I set this one to the side. I'm going to get some glue under there, and get some glue back here, get some glue back there, and I'll tack the rest if it needs it later. But usually I just go against them, not on purpose, but it just looks different to my eye, right? Because through the camera, everything is just slightly different. And the paper is straight, but the stamp is put on kind of crooked, and it's kind of bothering me, but I'm going to live with it. So these bigger ones, because I've made bigger ones for a while now, these bigger ones you can glue or staple onto the edge of a page. And then say you had a journaling card. I mean, you would use a bigger one, but say you had a journal card or whatever, a tag, you would tuck it back behind it. So in this case, these large clusters, you know, they can be tucks like this on the edge of a page. You could also, if you had a big pocket, decorate it on the pocket, but it's kind of a big one. We need to make some smaller ones. I say that, but then every time they just grow. And it's because I have so many options. As you work through your pile and you have less and less options, your clusters will become smaller. Okay, let's do something with this lady because she's been hanging out here. And she needs to be with this lovely pink paper, or maybe she needs to be with this paper. I think she needs to be with this paper. We're already starting out gigantic again. So let's do something with this paper. I'm going to try to rein it in and keep her smaller as I cut completely crooked. So let's just try to make this a smaller one. Let's just try it. You can't lose your glue pin in the middle of your mess. It is so hard for my eyeballs to see this little hole, even with readers on. I don't know what is wrong, but I cannot see. Okay, so we've got this going. Yeah, definitely the one with the more pink. So this is just something from one of those ephemera packs that you get on Amazon. Maybe she could go down here at the bottom, near the bottom. So we've kind of started at the top layer because, you know, we want to see her for sure. We want to see these flowers. So at this point, we need to add, you know, some base to her. I don't want her to get giant. I don't want my cluster to get out of control this time. It's kind of already, but I don't want it to get any bigger than that. Okay, so we've got 3 pieces. Hello, Heather and Jan. Hello. I watched some of your videos the other night. Thank you for joining. You like it, looked cricket? You like it, cricket? That's funny. Okay, so the Braille paper, guys, I'm telling you, in clusters, amazing. Let's add some kind of ledger and some kind of text or something back here. I like this ledger because it's got this black and she's kind of like printed in black and white. So let's try to add some of this ledger. I know I just said I didn't want it to grow, but we need to get some ledger in here and I don't want to cover up that. So let's just play with where it can go where I can still see everything. I think it can go like that. Now we've got 4 pieces. Let's see what else we can do. We have paint chips, maybe a paint chip. I have super long paint chips. Maybe paint chips can go on this side. It's growing again, but we're really close and I really love this one. It's super sweet. Now, because we have this creamy color, I need some kind of creamy up here. I think I'm just going to put some like book page in here. Just something creamy peeking out up there because it just needs to be balanced. To see how it looks right now where the darker creamy color is only on one side and at the bottom. And I think it would look better if I kind of got some creamy color up here to balance it. So I'm just going to adjust where I'm holding everything so I can get this paper down a little bit. And we're almost done with this one. Again, it's not cut straight, but I'm going to leave this rough edge of the book page. I really like this one. So I think we're good. The only thing I'm questioning is, am I going to put another focal point next to her or am I just going to staple and glue her on there? You can also sit down and just make a bunch that are plain like this that don't have a focal point. And then when you're working through a journal and you know what exact like theme or style or whatever, then add your focal point later. But it's nice just to do a whole bunch, you know, of color coordinated ones or, you know, something that looks good to you and then add your focal point later. But for now, I did that. We're going to go ahead and cover up my staple by getting her on there. And then we'll look and see if we need something else. I kind of think we do, but that's what we have so far. This little thing going. I don't know, maybe we could get a postage stamp right here. If I can find a pink one, maybe we can get a postage stamp right there. I think I had a pink one a little while ago, but I don't know where I put it. We have this. It's not really what I'm looking for, but it's there. Let me see if I can grab a pink one out quick. So these postage stamps are, I don't know, they're a little bit newer than the ones I have in the other section of the antique ones on the paper. And so for me, I'm really fussy about the newer stamps. They have to have the right look to them. So I'm not finding the exact pink one I want. But you know, Tim Holtz has that book of like, you know, new postage stamps. You could easily grab out the exact color that you wanted from that book. Darn it, I really wanted a pink one. I have purple and I have pink ones with men's faces on them, but I don't really want a man's face on my beautiful little cluster here. So I guess that's not going to happen. What about one of these tiny little pink labels? So if I dig in here, here's something that says Paris. I don't know that I love that. I think it kind of takes away from it. I don't know what we're going to do on that one, but I like it the way it is too. So I guess we can just leave it. What about this that says 1887? This looks kind of nice. Maybe we just anchor it all like that. I think I'm going to do that. Okay. What's going on in Chatland? I'm so focused on having fun over here. What's going on in Chatland? The pinks, oh my goodness. So this one, this beautiful cardstock, that's Stamperia. And it's the Rose Perfume backgrounds. They have a pack of paper that's just backgrounds. And so then we've got the paint chip, and I kind of like how we know it's a paint chip, right? It's obvious it's a paint chip. Super cute. That was a fun one. Are we tacked down enough for me to put it in the bin? I think we are. Okay, next. Hello, Robin. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Sorry, I didn't say hello. People come and go a lot, right? Okay, let me move my little stamps back. So today we were talking about building paper clusters. Next Friday, we're going to talk about and build all of our fabric and lacy clusters. Let's see what else we have in here. We've been playing with these ones. Let's maybe go more the Italian. I don't know. Maybe we'll start with base and we'll work our way up. We can get one of these calling cards on there. Maybe we do one with a calling card. Here's a calling card and maybe some dictionary. So I've got these little piles, and that kind of helps me get organized or stay organized. It doesn't always work, as you guys have seen, but I'm a piece of dictionary. I'm looking for the right kind of font and color. This is very, very thin, so it's going to have something sturdy behind it. And I don't want to keep going for the obvious, which is the ledger every time. Let's see, do I have green paint chips in here? I thought I had green. I must somewhere. Right here. But we did the pastel green long ones. Okay. Pastel green. I don't like that dictionary page. Too thin, too thin. Digging. Let's do this one. It's a little thicker. I'm still going to have Braille behind it. It's just too thin on its own. I've got a fat piece of Braille here. Got to play, turn it around. So in all honesty, this old dictionary is just too long. He's got to go chop. Dictionary, paint chip. That's pretty good base. I like that. I don't think that this is going to work on there anymore, but let's keep digging for something else that does. We've got a very shabby chic sagey green going here. I've got this calling card, which kind of works in there. I would need to pull my dictionary up a little bit. It's kind of sagey green. What else is there? Just trying to use a calling card. These calling cards are scans of my original ones, and I just scanned and had the scan and actually cut them out, because if I would have had to cut that by hand, it would have killed me. So I just printed them on cardstock, the 65-pound cardstock, and had the scan and cut just scan them out or cut them out for me. The scan and cut is awesome at some things, but it doesn't do everything perfectly right. Okay, here's a better card. Oh, maybe not. It's got a little cute doggy with a daisy. It's cute, but it was not the one I was trying to pull out of here. There's one with a little rose that I keep seeing, but I keep flipping past it too. How are you guys doing out there? All right, I don't see a better card, so we're going to have to go with one of these. Do we want the rose with the anchor? I think we do. Or this little cute doggy. The little doggy is just, He's like, I'm trying to envision a journal that I would use him in. Yeah, we're gonna have to go with the other one. He's cute, but I don't really do that kind of, I don't know where I'd put a little, I guess, in a daisy journal. Frank Keller. This was his calling card. Your life be bright as something. As day, as sky, I'm not sure. That's what the little saying says on it. All right, we've got this going. I love it. I want maybe 1 or 2 more elements on it. I want a pink something. I think this is just too dark pink. Let's see if I have a lighter one over here. I've got this. I don't know that that adds anything for me. Let's keep digging, digging. Ooh, there's this. What is this? Yeah, no. I mean, it kind of does, but no. It's also making me sick at the same time. Okay, what about S&H green stamps? We haven't played with those yet. I've got all of that. What was there, a pink little stock certificate thingy? There's another green one. Stay there. Don't move. I want this in there. That's kind of cool. And then I definitely need something pink right here. So I'm back on my pink stamp hunt. I might have to just get out of my chair and go get that book of Tim Holtz stamps, because then I can just pick the exact right color that I need. Okay, I mean, that's not going to do it for me. It's just not. All right. I've got things that look like that to play with. I'm just throwing stamps everywhere now. Okay, I don't know. But for now, we're going to leave this one the way it is because I don't know what else to stick on it. I want a pink stamp, I think. You guys agree? A pink stamp? That Stamperia pack, oh my gosh. It is pretty. But the backgrounds. So I love Stamperia paper. But sometimes I don't, like I'm not using it for scrapbooking. And sometimes their paper pads, they have elements on them which would be great for scrapbooking, but not necessarily great for junk journalers because the way that the element is, it's either too large or just not really my style or something like that. So I like their paper packs, but I love their backgrounds. Their backgrounds are gorgeous. I can't do flower on flower, although I almost could get away with it. All right, for now, we're just going to staple this one. I know that I want something up there in that corner, so we're good. It's going to happen. I don't know when it will happen. Maybe if I get up, it will happen, but I don't think we got our ticket. So let me glue my ticket quick, and then we'll find something pink. I don't know. I have to play with it. It just needs something pink up there. Okay, so I have no straight edges. Nothing is even. Everything is stacked and layered. That's that for now. I'm going to set this one off to the side. We will finish it. Ooh, I just found these. Let me look in here quick. No, I mean, I do want one, but not that one. Let me look in here quick. Because these are Tim Holtz ones. And I know some people love them and some people hate them. But the Tim Holtz ones, because they're on that whiter background, they work really differently than the German scrap ones. They're just lighter, right? Visually, they're lighter. This is very heavy visually because there's no white space at all on it. But because these ones have white space, they're just that much more visually, I don't know, easy on my eyes. Is there a cute little butterfly in here? Is there any kind of little thing? Those would have been cute if I would have used that little dog with the daisies. Where is that little dog? We might have to do this combination. He has a daisy in his mouth, so if I would have stuck him right there with his daisy in his mouth, and these little daisies going up the side. I could have made it work. All right. So now let's move on. I'm going to have to leave that one for a second because I need a pink stamp and I can't find one. I'm going to set these off to the side because now I've got them open and we will play with them as well. So I just have a big old pile of everything for these little clusters. So see, they're just so much lighter. I almost could do that too, but I know I need a stamp. So anyway, I've got a stamp. Let's move on before I bore you guys all. Yeah, the rose perfume. Yep. And when I use them on camera, I usually link them in the description box with the Amazon link. So that way, at least you guys know exactly which pack I used. Okay, moving on. We need to start again. And I said I wasn't going to use Braille paper every time. So if I'm not using Braille paper, we need to find something sturdy in this pile. Let's do one with this. This is another Stamperia paper pack. And I am doing the blue journals, so let's try to do some kind of cluster that maybe I can use in there. And so I'm going to try to play with, I like this because it's sturdy, even though my music is very light. So my music paper is a little too wide for me, so I'm just going to edit. That just stays in the pile and it will get used eventually. Then maybe some handwriting. We have handwriting on the little documents there, but maybe I come in and add handwriting somewhere here. I don't want to cover it all up. That's not bad. And I like just leaving those rough little edges on there. It just makes it look, you know, this is an antique document. It makes it look more authentic. So there's that. We don't have any text. I don't know if I want super heavy German text. Maybe I do. We're kind of going very antique-y here. Maybe. Let me see that for just a second. What else can we put on that one? If we're doing our blue, maybe we want some of this blue antique ledger. That would be really nice with the blue ledger number in the corner. This piece of ledger is apparently from 1862. So we have 1800s handwriting back there. This is probably from the 1700s. I'm not sure. It's pretty old. Let's get that blue ledger back there. I like it. Okay, cool. What else can we put on there? So this one will be definitely more in the antique category. We've already got music. Definitely don't want any of that. I don't know that I want Tim Holtz ones with it. I don't know. Let's do that big stamped paper piece. Something like that. A stamp on paper. Here's a nice one. So here we have this guy. It's a 2p stamp. So there's that. It kind of covers up my page number right there. So let me turn my page upside down so I can keep my page number. And then get my stamp up here. Because I don't care that that's upside down. To me, it even looks better. It's all in German anyway. I don't read German. So it's all good right there. We're kind of big again. They just seem to be big clusters today. And again, I think it's just because I have a whole lot of things to play with. All right. So I think we're good with that. It may need one more element in this area. See how it's just kind of flopping in the wind down here. I think we could add one more element in that little area down there. Let's see what kind of little pieces of something I have to add down there. Here's a little piece of like a fake map. I don't know that that's what I want. Let's see what else is in the bin. I don't even know what that is. It looks like a piece of one of my letters, but I don't want the white space. No, not that. Not tickets. Not another stamp. Let's see, what is this? It's a little piece of cardstock. That might be okay. It just kind of makes that little bottom section less flappy in the wind. But now I also need another one here. And I could just keep going and going and going. But we're going to staple at this point. And I'm going to try to staple it where I'm not stapling my thumb and leaving myself the place to put something over the staple. So this little blue guy isn't going to stay, so I'm going to have to glue him. Yes, you put these clusters on pages or pockets or anywhere you want. I have shown a couple times, but you just joined. So let me show you again. And for anyone else who just joined, some options for using these. So I just needed to tack that little blue one down. Again, I do tack all of this stuff down. I don't glue it completely flat, but I do tack it all down later. But for the sake of doing this live, I didn't want to sit here and have to glue every single one of the clusters. Let me finish this one. Then I will show you how to use it on a page. So this guy just needs something very antique looking to cover my staple, and it will add that little bit of more visual interest up here. I don't know that I want reduced price, but that's an option. There's this one, kind of nice too. These are, excuse me, these are just little number bits from Tim Holtz. I don't know what's going on with allergies. Do you guys have allergies too right now? Because I was out at Hobby Lobby the other day, and I know, it's local, it's here, but she was saying that she thought maybe it was from the fires too. So, okay, I don't see another blue option in here. So we might have to go with that one. It's not bad. I think it's fine. We're going to do it. Best thing you did? Uh-oh, I missed. What was the best thing you did? The eye surgery? No more glasses? I don't know anyone personally who had the eye surgery other than, like, if you're talking about just because you wear glasses and you had the eye surgery. My dad had it for cataracts and he loved it. Made him like a whole new man, kind of. But he had it for cataracts. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack those because that little stamp was kind of fallen off. So that's that guy. And I think we could use that in our new journals. So the monthly journal kit is this month. The journal kits come out every month, but they come out around the 15th and they're for the month going forward. So the journal kit this month is French Blue Beauty, and it has all of these gorgeous blues in it. Like here, let me show you the front of the kit. I won't get out all the pieces, but I will show you the front of it. Thank you for joining Black Whisper Crafts. You have a great weekend too. So this is the kit for this month. And so it comes with everything that you need to make the journal, everything for the cover, everything, you're going to have some pages or something like that. I do include a lot, but you're going to need some more probably. But anyway, so this cluster could definitely go in that kind of a journal. So that's good. We can use it in there. So as far as using clusters, so clusters this size, I'm probably going to put on the edge of a page. So I could put it up here at the top. I might have to slide it over a little or trim off that piece. Honestly, I would probably just trim off this little piece that's hanging over. But for me, for this one, I would probably attach it to the top of the corner of the page. So imagine this is a journal page. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded in half, which is what a lot of people use for journal pages. You would take this cluster, glue it on the top and down the side over here, and then this cluster would be a tuck for journal cards. So it would hold whatever you put underneath of it. So we're basically decorating pages by making all these clusters ahead of time. And here's some other ones that I've made so far. But basically decorating pages ahead of time without having to put the decoration on the page. We're just making the clusters, and later when I need them in a journal, I will have them available to put in a journal. So this is what we've made so far. And we haven't been making them all that long, honestly, but we've made that many so far. And I'm just going to sit here and play with making paper clusters today, because that's what we were talking about. And so we started out by, I showed you all the different things that you can gather for making paper clusters. And we went over, if you haven't been here the whole live, you can rewind this video or watch it again, the beginning part of it later. But I showed you all of the different options of things that I could gather in just a couple hours this afternoon to show you how to build clusters. We talked about this cluster building box, which has like a whole bunch of different variety of things in it that you can use in your clusters. I have a whole big bunch of bins behind me that also have things like that in them. So basically, I started off by explaining what you can put in a cluster, and then we started building some clusters. But that's what we were doing. And yes, it's just collaging. But when I'm collaging it, I'm holding it up in the air. Like, let's build a purple one. We haven't built a purple one. So basically, I'm just building a collage up in the air in my hand and stapling it together because it just kind of holds all the pieces. And then I'm covering up my staple with my little focal point on the front. Later on, I'll tack it down. And then you have these in a bin. It's just a ready-made piece of ephemera. So when you are decorating a journal, you know, you get to the point where you're pretty much at the end and you find a page that you need something on, then you have that cluster already built that you can just pull out and glue on very quickly. So let's go ahead and build a purple one. I don't know which side of this paper we should use, but let's build a purple one. So the purple one actually has some aqua in the background. So maybe I want to go and put some aqua coffee dye again. I really like the aqua coffee dye. So let's do that. I'm going to try to use it sparingly so that I can get some more clusters with it in there. So in this case, I'm sizing my piece as we go. Normally, you're just going to pick up a scrap out of your bin, but I'm being fussy with it. So again, I'm starting with one of the front layers instead of one of the back layers. And I'm just sizing my pieces because I don't want anything lined up. I don't want it like this. You can build it that way. It's a great tuck when you line them all up, but I'm building just free ones that I can put anywhere. So I'm not lining everything up. I'm just kind of staggering it, and I'll continue to stagger things as I go. And I've just got this huge pile. It probably looks like a huge pigsty on camera, but there is a reason. There is a method to this, right? And so I might get some handwriting there. I might choose to put it down here at the bottom. Just depends. That's an antique document there. Maybe we want to put some music in this one. So I started out by having a pile of music paper that was all cut up. A pile, I scanned a whole bunch of stock certificates and I cut out some of them. That's what these little guys are. I cut up some paint chips. Paint chips would also look good in this one. I don't know if we cut up a purple, but I think we have enough color, but I cut up them. I cut up some playing cards. I cut up a bunch of ledger page. I cut up a bunch of dictionary, and I cut up a bunch of braille. Had the box, had all of my scraps on the table. That's where we started anyway. Okay, so we need some text in this guy. We have handwriting. We have color and pattern. We now need text. So I don't want to cover up all my blue, but I definitely want some text in here. I don't know where to put text at the moment, but text needs to go in here. And I think I want my text in this area, which means I might want to put my handwriting back up in this area. We'll have to play with it. I'm going to do it like that and peek it out. And then I don't really want this much white either. Can't get it in there. This might not be the right piece for me. Let's play with a different piece. We have plenty down here. And normally I'm not quite this messy either, but I am trying for speed for something. Okay, here's a smaller piece of text. What about tucking that one down there? I like it, but it says PIS, and I would rather not have PIS right there. This is kind of a nice handwriting one too, because it's on that robin's egg blue paper, which really matches my background. So I'm going to keep that one to the side because I might swap that one out. Let's see. This is a nice text. Okay. So let's spin this one around and tuck it in like this, where I get my page number and a little bit of that header, and it's not perfectly lined up with that one. Again, we have a gigantic cluster. I can't seem to make a small one. I am so excited to do that kit, guys. So excited. We're going to start, that kit is the one that we make all through the month of February. So I sold it around the 15th. We make the whole journal together on camera in the Friday Night Lives, starting the first Friday in February, which is, I needed to tell you guys this too. The first Friday in February is the 7th. Is that accurate? Oh my gosh, it is the 7th. We might start it on the 31st. We'll see. The 31st or the 7th. The 7th is makes a very short journal making session, right? I'll let you guys know next Friday whether it's going to be the 31st or the 7th. I want us to have enough time, you know. We have a lot of new journal makers. So we've got a very big cluster. I'm going to need some more purple in here, guys. I need some more purple. And if you remember, purple has been pretty hard for me to find pieces. Pieces of purple things. This is not the right purple. It's almost like a pinky purple. Let me see. Do we have any pinky purple anything? Am I going to have to go in my bag of tricks and find something that's pinky and purple? Let me see. I'm digging off camera. I think I found something. Pinky purple. I can't. Nope, I can't. Pinky and purple is in short supply today. Well, let's see. I can get this guy in here. All right. We need to focus on this area. I really don't want to do that. I need something pinky and purple. I tried that earlier in a different location. I like it, but I don't like all of it. And it just adds that kind of color to it. So we've got that. I don't know if I want this one because I put that one on there, but at least I got some more pinky purple in there. I'm digging. There's these, but I don't think any of them are pinky purple either. Sometimes when you're trying to be too specific with things, it gets like that, right? Okay. So we've got that. I don't know if I love it, but it's kind of pinky and tealy. I don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of pinky purple and tealy. A couple of times I did pull out a nice purple stamp. Now, of course, now that I'm looking for it, I will not be able to find it, but maybe I could tear one of those tear one of these guys out. I'm going to fold it and tear it so I have that rough edge. So the blue dogs. You guys know I'll be back next Tuesday. This coming Tuesday. We have a sale every Tuesday. So whatever it is that you guys are needing, it's there. Okay. So I've got this gigantic rose and it's like it's combating for focal pointness. You guys see what I'm saying? Like no matter what I stick on here, this gigantic rose is just overpowering every other thing that I put on there. So I may back out of it and do something a little bit different. Gotta cover up that little white spot. Okay, so in order for me to see this accurately, I need to do a little bit of trimming. And see, now I'm not loving it, but I do love that rose being up there instead of this one being in the center. Okay, we're getting close. I'm not sure I need this, and I might in fact need this just to go down here. Okay, so we have handwriting, we have that. What about ledger? We should have some ledger that has a nice purplish tone to it. This guy, maybe just a little bit of that to anchor things, and I'll cut some off. I don't know that I need this 93 in there, but I'm sure trying. Yeah, okay, I'm good. We did it. We survived. Little trimming, little tucking. I've got the blue coffee dyed paper coming out this way and this way. Just need to straighten a few things up. Oops, I moved it all. Okay, we're good. We're good. So you could just paper clip them and then do them all gluing and stapling and focal pointing later too. So that's going to go rightish there. And I'm only going to see the 3. And I like that better because the 93 was just too much for me. I don't want to see the 9. It was just too much for me. So there's that. We did that one. This little guy needs tacked down and he needs moved over just a hair. So I'm going to rearrange him and just tack him over a little bit because he was perfectly lined up. Uh-oh. We lost our ledger. Okay, there we go. We did it. Needs down just a little. There we go. We're getting there. Getting there. I can't get this little piece down here at the bottom to be straight. Okay. We're good. We did it. Okay. So in reality, I would have loved a little more purple down there, but you guys know purple was just in short supply. I guess maybe I could like tuck this up in there. Let me try it. I just need to bring the purple color down to the bottom. Okay. Lisa, I hope that you do something fun for your birthday. Oh, that's not where that went. It went here. I hope that you found something fun to do today. At least eat a piece of cake. So there's that guy. And again, he's really big. So he's probably going to go on the edge of a page like this as just a little tuck. I mean, not a little one, a big tuck. But I mean, if you ever find a page in your journal where you're like, I didn't realize there was another blank page. These are great for that. All right, we do need to focus on building a small one. Before we go, because we have a little bit of time left, we need to focus on building a small one because most of what I built today was very, very big. Let's try doing something Tim Holtzy and cigar band. We haven't used these cigar bands yet. Let's do a manly cigar band. Maybe we use this little stock certificate. I don't want to cut it just yet. Maybe we use stock certificate in that. This little butterfly's been floating around here. We might have to use it. I might have to find a Tim Holtz person. He looks like he would smoke a cigar. So maybe we go something like this. And then we need our book page and our basics in here. So this one I built again backwards. I started with my, I could put the PIS with the man. I know it really has another S on it, but you know, it could go something. I don't know if I will leave it there. Maybe I do the German. No, I don't think so. I can't use the PIS. I can't do it. Okay, so dictionary. blends in. Rag paper. Rag paper might be a little too brown. I need a regular normal piece of rag paper that doesn't have any half bad words on it. That looks good. Okay. Just want to trim it straight, but other than that, we're good. I said straight. Kinda. All right. Lovely restaurant, and you had lunch. Okay, that's good. That's awesome. Can we say? I'd rather you not, Ria. We cannot advertise here at all. Is this a cluster notebook? This is just cluster building. And you just keep your clusters in a bin or your ephemera box or whatever, and then you use them as you find a place in your journal that needs some more decoration. I have those numbers. I think they're just more of a focal point though. Okay, so I think I need some nice heavy ledger here to stabilize everything. What about one of these? This one looks nice. Trying to keep it small. It's getting harder, but I like what we have going, except for I need to cut my little tickets out. So let me cut my little tickets out. These are the stock certificate tickets. And after I get them cut straight, I'm fussing with it because they're like right in the front. Okay, so we've got ledger, stock certificates, some kind of tax, which I'm still not sold on that one. I may want to go to this guy. Now I do like him. This is French book page, French rag paper. So we've got that. We've got our little tickets. I don't want to cover up my whole ledger, but we might. And then I've got this cigar band label thing, and I could put it going sideways with my little man next to it and cut off that little white edge. That's not bad. It kind of still needs a little something if this is what we're going to do. I've got this little thing that says experienced workman. Or yes, workman. Should we put experienced workman somewhere? Yeah, I think it has to go sideways so I can cut off that little bit of white on the cigar label. So I think we're going to go something like this. I still would like a little something different right there. Maybe not the workman and this little label. It gets fussy when you got to hold so many little things together. Too many things going sideways. What about this going like, yes, better, much better. Okay, so now we're like that. I still want this on there. I might put it right over top of him and in the middle of that label. I'm trying to fuss with it. Hopefully you guys can see. I think we're pretty good there. It just needs a little, it just keeps coming up short for me every single time. What about one of these little tiny labels? Or a postage stamp? That's not bad. We're going to do this one right down here. Covers up everything I needed it to cover up. So we're good. I'm going to do my staple right here. If I can reach it. Okay, I think we got everything there. Let's go ahead and glue our man on. And he's actually maybe holding a cigar. I'm not sure. He's got something in his hand. And I would really probably would have liked to have inked, especially, do I have it in here? I do. Let me ink this real quick. I haven't inked anything so far, but I have to ink this little experienced workman. It just has too much white edge since we cut it out of one of those strips. Okay, so that's going there, preferably straight. Let me read the comments. Thank you guys for watching this video and hanging out with me. Like I said, we will be doing this again next Friday, but we're going to do the fabric lacy ones. I have a bunch of French fabrics, a bunch of antique crochet things. We're going to play with some fun stuff next week. And of course, lace. So there's that. And then we're going to stick this right under here. Perfect, but it's getting inked. And then I'll be here Tuesday for the live sale. You guys will see me every morning for my videos, my 365 videos. Do you guys have any requests for 365 videos? I know somebody requested that I sew in the signature, and I can do that when I do the blue journals. I'll be making 3 blue journals, and I'll sew one of them in for you guys on a morning. So we have a very, you know, it's pretty straight. It's pretty straight sided. He would just go on a page like, you know, he could be a little tuck too. He's probably going to just decorate it, you know, decorate a pocket or something. I might go here and trim this piece off. It's just a little too lined up for me. And there's a lot of white space and it's not really adding anything. So I might as well snip it. Now I can see more of my ledger. That makes me happy. So there's that one. And we used a cigar label and that was nice because we needed to use some of those out of there. Very nice. Okay. I'm always on Friday. Every Friday we do live crafting. Every single Friday. The month of February, we'll be building the blue journal kit. You don't have to do that with us, and you don't have to buy the blue journal kit to come and craft with us. You can come and craft and make whatever you're making. You can use whatever supplies you have at home and make a blue journal like we're making. You can just come and hang out. You don't have to craft at all. And then I put the Facebook group link. The link to my Facebook group is at the top of the comments. It's the very first comment in there. If you're looking at live chat, the Facebook group link, the Facebook group is called Junk Journal Makers, and it's just linked up there at the top of the comments. So right now I'm thinking of doing something with one of these. So let's cut one of these guys out. And these I just scanned right before I went live so I could play with them. You know what would be nice? I keep thinking of this guy. You know what would be nice in here is like maybe some playing card. I just keep thinking about it. Where's the other half of this card? It's a little bit wider. Oh, I would really love to do that. I'm going to do it. I just needed a little bit more. I'm just tacking it down in there with some glue. So when you cut up your playing cards, you get all these little interesting bits, you know? And like I said before, you could have built this entire cluster on a whole playing card. Obviously, you would have cut it down smaller. And then when you make it on a playing card, the playing card, when you make a cluster, we can do that next. When you make a playing card cluster, you're going to build your cluster on top of your playing card, and you can glue it down on 2 sides, and then it's a little tuck from this way. It's kind of a nice little pocket too. So let's do that. We did this one. Is he glued on there? He is. Okay, we're good. Now, what was I doing? This. We're going to do this one next. I'm playing with this piece. And I cut this little ticket out. or I cut one of these little tickets out. Somewhere I cut a ticket out. I think it was this one. Let me trim off this little edge right here. Okay. And so I just left my little scrappy bits in there. I can pick those out later just for the sake of doing it today. We have handwriting. I don't know that I want it in there, but we have it. I've got a whole lot of neutrals going. I really need to find some kind of focal point, some kind of color, some kind of texture, something to zhuzh this one up. Here is one of those language cards. I don't know that I want it in there, but I'm playing with the option. We're very neutral at this point. And what about like, I think we're very, very neutral. Need something to kind of focus on. We can't see our language card at all at this point. It's just kind of back there. So I'm not super happy about not seeing it. What does this word mean? I don't want it to be, oh, it means victory. Okay, I guess victory is okay. I mean, none of them are really bad words, but there are some words that I would probably not like to have as a cluster. And so at this point, I'm trying to keep my little flower on my illustrated dictionary. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this. It's just overhanging a little bit too much for me. There we go. Not bad. I still am thinking about this one. I don't know where it would go, but I'm thinking about it. I think it just competes with other things. Okay. Good night, Karen. The makes from the 365. Well, you don't have to make one every day, and there's probably some days that, you know, you kind of can remember it without having one in your idea book. Maybe we put color back there. Where's the green? Ooh, we have these green tickets. Forgot about those. But we also had this. I mean, it's kind of botanical because we have a flower. I don't know that I love it, but let's keep working. Maybe we do this. I would love it if this green paint chip was darker in color. Because it could be, this could be more of like a nature journal kind of a cluster. If I had a little mushroom, that would be very helpful right now. I don't think I have any mushrooms here. Do I have mushrooms here? Where did that butterfly go? There's the butterfly. Oops, I dropped it. We could do it. It's fine. It's just me, so I have to be extra picky. Well, it's not terrible, but I would like a mushroom. I have mushroom fussy cuts in my fussy cutting bag that I didn't bring in here. There's little apothecary labels. No, I think we're just going to leave it like this. It's very, very light in color. There is green. I don't know if you guys can see that's green. I really would like a different color paint chip. And the only ones we have that are dark green are these big colored ones. Let me just see before I steeple. Maybe I do like that better. And then maybe I could go like this. That's not bad either. One of these butterflies on here. But what about this little area? See how I have this weird little peeking out thing down here? It might need another layer right there. So we have handwriting, we have text. Have any ledger in this one. We don't have any music in this one. Should we put like some really dark aged music down there? I think we shall. So I'm going to try to set that one down. I'm going to try to trim out some music. Let's see how this looks. Kind of, sort of. Yep. Okay, that works. It just balances it in my eye a little bit more. So I'm going to try to straighten everything up now because I've had to pick it up and put it down several times. The straightening is the hardest part. So my advice is try not to sit it down. If you have to, you have to, but I'm trying so hard to straighten. But once I move one, it all wiggles. I mean, you sometimes just have to start over, but I'm really trying not to. Okay. So my stapler, I'm going to try to go from this side. Hopefully I've got everything attached. So I'm going to glue it right here. And that might not have been exactly where I needed my glue. I might need it over there a little more. There we go. Nope, don't wiggle. And that one's not attached. Okay, we're wiggling. We're moving. There we go. I think we've got this section. I need to see my flashcard. The staples do allow you a little bit of wiggle, but that's not always a good thing either. So I'm gluing that ledger or that music down because it wasn't attached. There we go. And then I'm just going to straighten. And that one can go in a nature journal, I suppose. I don't really know. But I'm going to have to glue this too because it keeps wiggling. But, you know, we covered up all of a whole lot of things. Stay. Cool. Let's keep going. Good night, Faith Art Design Studio. Good night, and thank you for joining. I love your guys' directions. I hope that you guys are crafting along. Let's do this little cluster. We need to do a tiny little cluster on this playing card. We might be able to use this butterfly because he just keeps floating around here. So let's trim off some of this beautiful aged paper. It's going to make me cry a little bit, but we're going to do it. And let's try to do a little tiny cluster on here so that we can have a little tuck. So we're going to need some more little elements. I don't necessarily want to cover up all of my playing card elements, but that's okay for right now. Let's see what else we have. We have these little gentlemen. I mean, that would be so easy. So very easy. I'd like to see a little more of my book page, so I'd have to trim it off more, but I think that would be so easy. Let's do it. So I trimmed off all of my aged paper. Kind of makes me sad, but so it says the word SEE at the top of it. We've got these little gentlemen. I got to start over. Got these little gentlemen here. We're going to put them on there. And this one is just going to be a little tuck. Once I get them situated, you can just see little tiny bits poking out. And so I'm just trying to get it to where I can see the numbers right here on this little ticket. And that word up there at the top is straight. And the page number is straight. He's kind of fussy. And then I've got this little butterfly. He keeps floating around, and I might just stick him on there. So if this is going to be a tuck, I probably don't want to stick a staple on it, just because you can, but the way that this playing card is going to work, something going in there might actually get caught on it. So I'm just going to glue these ones. It's not really a big deal, but I'm just going to glue them. I don't want them completely flat stuck, or else I would use glue stick. But if you just put them on a little bit, then you still get that look of it's a cluster without having everything be flat. Diane, thank you. Sorry. Yes. Good. Got it. I probably would have inked, but you know, I usually ink the Tim Holtz looking things. Okay. There's the gentleman. There's the butterfly. I might have wanted another little label with the butterfly, but I didn't do it. So if I want one, and I'm going to cut off the wing a little bit. Cool. Do we want something else just for a little color, a little variety, a little zhuzhing? That's where these little labels come in handy, but honestly, you don't have to find a tiny one. A very, very tiny one to go on a playing card. Here's this little yellow round one, and it says Class C number 10, or yes, number 10. Let's stick that on there. I don't know where, but let's stick it on there. It's a good use for it. So guys, what do you think of clusters? How many people are going to be making clusters this weekend? How many people just watched for fun, and how many people will be making clusters? I keep moving it. So there's that. And this one, I can stick on a page. Like I could just clip it in and it would be a tuck with a paper clip. Like that would be so easy too, is you just use a paper clip and it's a tuck. But if I glue it down, even if I glue it on top of a pocket, it's another pocket or little tuck that way. So that's the way that guy works. And we just built him on a playing card. I'm going to leave the wing for now, but he probably will get cut off when I actually use him. And that's that. You guys got awfully quiet out there. I know it's getting late for some of you. It's past your bedtime because, you know, I'm in Arizona, so it's a lot earlier for me than it is for you guys. How are you guys doing? Anybody going to make clusters this weekend? I'm going to clean up some of the trash out of this pile because I've just been trimming my offcuts into it. That can stay. But I think that you guys can see where you can use just about anything out of your scrap pile and you'll make some beautiful clusters. And I'm probably going to sit here for a little while tonight and make these because, well, everything's out and I might as well while I have all this mess. And I'm honestly not done playing yet. I have quite a bit of goodies here to choose from. I'm just trying to reorganize a little bit. At some point, you gotta put your piles back together. So these were the playing card, the stock certificate, and the paint chip pile. And so that's what that looks like. We used some out of it. And so these bigger bits, you can organize into like little Ziploc bags or little plastic bags or, you know, whatever you want to keep the little piles separate. If you mix it all together, that will work for a lot of people because they like to dig. But for me, I like to know where a certain thing is. So when I'm building that cluster and my brain tells me, hey, a ticket would look good here, then I can go to the ticket section. That's kind of the point of the box, is as you're building your clusters, after you build a few, your brain is going to be like, oh, you know, a playing card would look great here. And so the point of having all the little piles separated out is just to make it faster, because otherwise you'd have to sort through your big pile of scraps looking for, you know, a specific thing. I'm getting paper stuck in my sleeves again. So I've got ledger, dictionary, if I can pick it up, dictionary, braille, and I cut a lot because why not, right? Because if I don't use these for clusters, they're just going to get in my scrap bin, and I'm going to use them in collage masterboards. I wouldn't put the braille on there, but I'd probably put everything else on there if I needed to. So there's my piles reorganized. This guy's just got the smallest bit of handwriting. So then there's this, which is, we did work on quite a bit of my scrap pile. We've got it down quite a bit. Just shoving it back together. There's a whole big bunch of ledger back there. And I don't think we played with this piece either, so that might need to be played with before we end the night. That might need to be played with. And then I've got music paper. So dictionary, ledger, music, braille. I've got a bunch of handwriting. I've got playing cards and paint chips and stock certificates. I've got offcuts from Florentine paper, a ton of Florentine paper. I've got offcuts of, you know, my digitals, Stamperia digitals, whatever in there. I've got tons of Tim Holtz things out. Making baby blankets right now. That's awesome. As long as I have everything out. I know. Mass making. The playing card is fun. It really is. Cutting stuff up. Yep. Once you do that, it comes together pretty fast. Playing card idea. Cool. We're going to do some altered playing cards in the 365 series. You have to clean and organize. I get it. Made a couple with me. Thank you, Marta. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I hope you had fun. All right. So I'm going to make maybe 2 more with you guys live. Is there anything that you guys want me to do specifically? Is there anybody that has questions about something? Let's try making really, really tiny ones. I keep saying it and it needs to happen. Let's try to make a really small one. We haven't used one of these. These are Tim Holtz reproduction milk cups. I have the antique ones in here too, but I think I'm going to use a fake one, if you can call it fake. I'm going to use a fake one. He kind of looks like a milkman. Maybe we'll put him on there as a milkman. Then we kind of need something for this to be on as a base. The problem is I always want to put it in the middle, and while you get the number, you won't necessarily get much of the flashcard. So let's keep looking for flashcard. Maybe there's one with longer words. Ooh, there's some stamps that just magically popped in, and they're kind of this tealy color. I'm going to hang on to them for a minute. They just kind of fell into the bin. I mean, you can kind of see it back there. I guess you don't really need to read it. Honestly, you don't really need a whole lot if you're doing small ones. Maybe one of those postage stamps, and we need some kind of paper. We have 0 paper on that guy. But see, then it gets big. I need very small pieces of paper. Very small. Let's try we're in the PIS section of this dictionary, apparently. I'm going to cut this down and then we're going to use it. It's floating around. It needs to be used. Let's see how one of these pieces looks. I just lose all of my language card. It's not the end of the world if I lose it. It just gave me a nice sturdy base. So I think I'm good with that. Maybe just a little number or something right here. I was going to use one of these stamps, but it'll cover up too much. It might tuck in down there. Just one of them. We'll still see about that. This one says figure 110. I don't know. I know I'm not supposed to stress about what the actual little things say, but what about this one that's just a price tag? I would prefer if it had a little more color. So digging in my bin. Let's see these little tiles. We haven't played with these yet much either. Let's see what we have in here. These are the collage tiles. These little things. No. Don't move. Nobody moving. I kind of liked the little, I don't know, the little hand with the little label. I was hoping I could get it to tuck in there a little bit more, maybe. Maybe. I don't know that I love it now, but maybe. I guess not. No, no, and no. What about this one? It kind of has the similar colors. Okay. So I haven't tried to Tim Holtz staple through the milk cap yet. So we're going to try and we're going to see if it works. It does. Cool. So now I just need to glue my little man on and glue my little label on. My little label goes first. Glue my little label on. Again, inking would be great, but there we go. The little man. So we have a milk cap this time. We have a price tag, which I really would like to go over more. Art glitter. There we go. That's pretty good. And then I think I need to tack down that little square because I don't think it's really stuck to anything. And then one of these little stamps. So that was fun. We made a small one, finally. It's not super small. It's about medium, but... and we're going to cover up our PIS right there. It's just a little guy. Because this is the last one. The last normal. Well, we made one this big, so... I think that counts as little. Okay, let's try to do a small one again. Never used art glitter glue. Oh my goodness, Lisa. Lisa. Game changer. It's perfect. Now, there are some tricks that you need to know, like when you're using art glitter, but it is really fun. Really good glue. It holds a lot of things. I've got these two stamps, and I've got these green tickets. And what else do I have? This green paint chip. And one of these little stock certificates. I think I want to do a little naturey one again. So see how I started off with like a little color theme over here? You can do that. You can work that way too. I want to do a little naturey one. Well, we won't be using that word in our dictionaries. No, we will not. In our journals. No, sorry. We can't use that word. I could if I covered it up. I mean, I guess that's a good way of getting this piece of paper out of my pile, because otherwise, this is even the same one, I would accidentally use that in somebody's journal. And not that most people would care about that word, but, you know, people have made words what they are now. So let's try to cover it up and still keep the beautiful grungy paper. Goodness. So I'm just going to cut out this little piece of green stock certificate. So if I put that right there, we have this lovely grungy paper. We have green, which means I don't get to use this one, which I really liked that one. So I may want to do it the other way. I may want to put this green paint chip right here. Ooh, and I get my grungy page number. I like that. Okay. Then I would like some grungy music. Grungy music. I'm going to have to trim it off, but grungy music. Fighting the straight constantly. Okay, grungy music. I want this little brown ticket in here somewhere. Let me cut it. Is autocorrect getting you again? That darn autocorrect. So guys, if you haven't given me a thumbs up yet, would you please consider giving me a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. All of those things, if you're not familiar, leaving comments and subscribing and thumbs up, all of those things help out a channel's metrics with YouTube. And because I'm doing a live right now, YouTube does not like lives. They don't, I mean, they do and they don't, right? They don't rate them the same way that they rate a pre-recorded video. And so doing a live kind of hurts my other metrics to some degree. So if you guys feel inclined, I would really appreciate it. Thumbs up, and you know, if you feel inclined, I would really appreciate you subscribing. So we have text, but I've used the wrong color of music paper. It's just all blending together. So let's use a different color of music paper. After all of that, I'm going to use this one. Ooh, we even got the music notes again. Perfect. That's better. Okay. I feel so terrible about asking for subscribing like that. Every time. I just don't like asking. I know. I need to get better about it. Can we get this card in here somewhere? It's got green on it. Can I get it like over here maybe? So I'm trying to do a little nature one. I don't like the way that those two line up right there, so I might hang that one over there. I want to use this little stamp in here, and I want to use this little stock certificate thing. So you've got that. I need a different focal point though. I have a lot of little accessories, but I don't have a focal point. So for nature ones, what can I do that is very naturey without having any mushrooms or anything like that in here? What do I actually have? I have a whole bunch of stamps over there. Maybe there are some mushroom little things. I might like that better than that. I think I kind of do. I need a little I need a little mushroom. I have really big butterflies. Well, I need something else. What is in these little collage tiles that we haven't used yet? Here is a little girl. I don't know that I love that, but let me keep looking. I'm just looking for focal points. Focal points is what I'm looking for. I would love a mushroom focal point, although I do not think we're going to find one. What about one of these? Let me back up my collaging a little bit here. I'm getting tired. I can tell because things are getting harder. Yep. Getting a little bit harder to do collaging. Okay, so we've got some stamps peeking out. We've got some music. We have a flashcard off to the side. I don't think I need anything more green in there, but I've got it if I want it. I could do that. That would be fine. I don't know that I love it, but that would be fine. Yeah, don't like that as a focal point. I think we might do the little girl, even though I wanted nature. What about these little flowers over here? I've got a gigantic butterfly, but we already have butterflies back there. No, too many butterflies. Although, hang on just one second. If I put this guy back here, and I get this brown stamp somewhere in here. I don't hate that. We're going to do it. And then I'm going to go find my fussy cutted mushrooms. Fussy cutted, is that a word? My fussy cut mushrooms. Yep. I'm definitely getting tired. Okay, so I need to get this brown stamp right where it's at. I think it was somewhere over here. And then this big butterfly. Fussy cutted. Oh my goodness. Yeah, fussy cutted. Well, guys, I think this might be the last one. I guess I'm going to be done now. And I'll flip the camera back around and say my goodnights. I will show you everything that we did because some of you were not here all the way from the beginning. So I will show that. This little stamp needed to go down just a little bit. And now it is. So there's how that one ended up. Truthfully, I don't know that I need that little piece up there. I'm going to leave it for now, but that might get lobbed off. I guess I do need it. So it's staying. But that's that one. So let me show you guys what we did. Then I will flip the camera back around and say goodnight to you guys. And we still needed to find something for that one too. Okay, so that's the one we just did. Oops. He's got glue on him. Okay, and we used that page that I wouldn't have been able to use anywhere else. So there's that. That one can go in a nice foresty nature journal. I have the perfect piece of paper for that. So we'll start putting stuff together for nature journals. We did this little guy. It's just a cute little one. It's cute. He kind of looks like a milkman, so I'm happy with that one. Then we did this one. This is a gigantic one. I was not truthfully thrilled with that one, but it's moving a little bit too. I'm going to have to tack that over there, but it just moves a little bit. But this is a gigantic purplish one. I think I just need a little bit more zhuzhing on that and we'll be good. Either trimming, trimming something, maybe like this little brown piece down here, maybe, I don't know, I kind of like it, but trimming or something needs to happen with that one. This is one that we did that's almost the mate to this one. They're very cute. Very cute. Then we did this one and this one. He could almost use a little color. But anyway, we did those. Then we did this one for Blue Journal. This is the very first one we built. And we did this yellow one. So honestly, if I put all three of these together, like for my 3 nature journals, I've got a head start. So there's those. Then we did this pinkish one. Then we did this one, and see, they do need tacked because they're all moving just a little bit. We did that neutral one, and we did this pink one, and we did this purplish one, and this pink one. This one's probably my favorite, and probably the one I'll use first because it matches a whole lot of things. And then this one, and see, things move a little bit when they're not tacked. This one just needs a little something, and I might just, I don't know. It just needs a little something right there. And it kind of needs to go over a little bit. I'm going to have to find something for this one. Maybe I just did. I think I just did, guys. I'm doing it. Because then it's done and I don't have to stress about it. So this cute little girl wanted to go on something. She didn't want to go back in the plastic box. So we did that. It just kind of fits, and I kind of like the color of the anchor with the color of the photo. So that worked. Cool. Well, that's what we did. We did a pile of clusters, and before we started any of that, we built all of our cluster stuff. So glue it down. Okay, so this is where we're at. Let me see here. Oh my goodness, where's my cameras? There's my cameras. There I am. It's hard to find the camera when you're tired. All right, so as you guys can see behind me, there's a mess of stuff sitting on the table. I will take care of all of that, clean it all up. We will be here on Tuesday for a live sale. The live sale on Tuesday starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have all kinds of French antiques. That's usually what I sell here. I do sell Italian paper, laces, other kinds of things, fabrics, whatever. But next Tuesday, we'll be doing more antiques from France. I have a ton of paper, those stock certificates. There's a big pile of those. I don't know, all kinds of other things. If you guys have requests, you guys can tell me too what it is that you're looking for and hoping that I'm going to bring. I have paper bits all over me. Anyway, if you guys have requests for the Tuesday sale, let me know, and I will try to pull them. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you. I enjoyed doing this with you guys, and I wanted to kind of go over clusters because making clusters and talking about all the different things you can use in clusters is far more than a 15-minute video. And so while we did clusters like that today with paper up in the air, I am going to do a video where we're collaging on paper, a little bit different than this. But that one I think I can accomplish in 15 minutes, just not cluster making and talking about all the different things that you could build your cluster making box with. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me for that part of it. This was part 1. Part 2 will be next Friday, where we do lace and fabric clusters. And so those ones, I showed the lace and fabric cluster box that I have already built in the beginning of this video. If you guys missed that part, you might want to watch that so that you can get the ideas of what supplies to dig out for next Friday. That way you have everything ready to go and you can make with me. For the lace and fabric clusters, I generally hand sew buttons onto those. I also put like rusty safety pins and other things. So you don't have to sew. You can glue buttons on too. But I just wanted to mention that again because I will have needle and thread and be sewing some on next Friday. So anyway, that's the schedule. I'll be there 365 videos every morning. If you haven't subscribed, if you subscribe and click the notification bell, YouTube is supposed to send you those notifications and put those 365 videos right on your home screen when you log into YouTube. So that way you can just click it. It'll pop right up for you every morning. And then I'll be here. So morning videos 365, be here Tuesday for the sale, be here next Friday for lace and fabric clusters. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I see some requests came in. Ria says scrap packs for clusters. Okay. Are you talking like paper, or are you talking fabric, or are you talking both? Page packs with a variety of paper. Okay. Pack of my digitals. You guys have been asking for the digitals. I promise you they are coming. I have been doing many things with my digitals behind the scenes. So once I get that situated, they are coming. I will do printed packs of digitals, and I will do digitals where you can download the digital form so that you can print it over and over again at home. But some people don't have printers, so I do offer printed paper packs as well. Paper sample packs. Thank you, Robin. Thanks so much for joining. One of each, paper scraps and lace and fabric scraps. Not that long ago, I did do lace and fabric scraps, but when I was digging around today to fill up my cluster making box, I did find a whole nother bin of lace and fabric scraps. So that might be coming. It won't be next week. It won't be Tuesday, but it might be coming soon. Oh my goodness, guys. It was so much fun making all these things with you guys. I have enjoyed it very, very much. And the morning videos are like my favorite part of the day because I get to sit there and craft, and then maybe I go back to bed for a couple hours and I get up and do my day, right? The videos come out at 4 a.m. this time, my time. So. Okay. Thank you, Ria. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for kind of helping out in chat. So everyone who is a veteran here, they kind of help out and answer questions. So thank you guys for all doing that. And thank you guys for joining me and going on this adventure with me. As you guys know, I love making junk journals. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the craft with me, and we'll come back next Friday so we can have some more fun with some fabric. If I'm being honest with you, the fabric and lacy ones are probably they're killing me not to sit down and make them right now, because I know that box is right there and everything is out and I really want to make them. I will be good and I will wait till next Friday with you guys. Paper sample packs. I think I'm going to do the Italian paper sample packs too. So those will be coming. Yes, have a blessed weekend. Lisa, I hope you have awesome rest of your birthday. Neighbors. It would be awesome to be neighbors with you all. Eventually, we will do a retreat in person. So there will be a retreat here in Arizona in person where everyone can come. We had planned on doing that this year, but my son has been sick. So once we get stuff ironed out, we will have an in-person retreat where you all can come and we can all hang out together. Not just crafting, but just hanging out together. So it'll be at a resort where we can, enjoy our time together. All right, guys, I will see you guys on Tuesday. I'll see you in the morning, or you'll see me in the morning, but I will see you guys, talk to you guys, chat with you guys on Tuesday. It always feels one-sided, right? All right, guys, have a good weekend. I will see you guys soon. Bye.